This side's the angel on my shoulder, and this side's the devil on my shoulder.
We're like the AT&T bars of cancellation.
Why do you think we're drunk all the time and I won't move my family here?
Amber, let her drink.
Why'd you make these racist, Cody?
And that's why.
Oh, your grandfather tried to kill you.
Who has the tokens, Haley?
Brandon, did you show your Cody shirt? You should have wore it for the podcast today.
I need.
Where's this?
Can you
shirt?
throw me my favorite shirt?
Dude,
Yeah,
Just did a
King
Secret
Trout,
Santa.
come read a passage of your book.
On camera.
Like, the next thing they record, I won't be in it. Go right ahead then.
Sad part,
Great.
we could sell so much of that.
That should be the next shirt.
Aw, that's actually really good. I like that.
Man, the Mexican audience really liked this. That is this fucking Mexican shirt as they come. It's like those Cholo shirts.
That's the middle kiosk in the mall shit.
You should,
Oh, yeah. Hey, mister, come here.
you should get that painted on the hood of your Cybertruck.
That's actually
Oh,
at Elon Musk.
oh, fuck. We ready to do this thing?
Yeah.
Everyone got a cracky top?
Oh, I can
You
simulate
can
the
just
crack.
pop.
I'll pop that one.
I got
yeah.
you. Ready?
Cool.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry. No, Your Honor, his head just did that.
That's what. Hey, first JFK, then the healthcare CEO. It's crazy. It just happens left and right.
That's how this one started.
We're starting out like that, huh? How do you feel about it?
Next, unsub. Hi, yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. Thank you all for having me on. He
stole your line.
Cody, do your thing.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed Podcast. I'm joined today by Eli Doubletap, Fat Electrician, Mr. Wendigoon himself, Brandon Herrera, myself, Donut Operator. We love you. Thank you for being here.
What's up, you beautiful bitches, and welcome back. I always love when you're on. Last time we talked about, like, what? I forget a lot of things.
a lot
And
of
then the
stuff.
Bible for an hour. We sat, and everyone loved it.
I remember there was a lot of Bible talk. I remember that. I know he kept trying to get me to say things that would get me in trouble, which is just standard fare.
Just kind of do that all the time.
He just kind of does that a lot.
You're not special.
But you guys are my friends. I always have a great time on this podcast. It's nice to come on something where I don't feel like I have to, like, perform, or it's not like Wendigoon. It's like, oh, I can just talk, so it's nice. So I appreciate you guys
I
coming
have a podcast where I have to read things someone else wrote.
We're just going to bully it, and the war begins.
Okay. At least... No, you got me there. I can't.
When we see
It's not
that,
really
we were
counting
like,
for that one.
those smart sons of bitches.
It's one of my favorite podcasts, though.
I know, we all watch it.
I appreciate that. No, the podcast is a ton of fun. I did, like, at first I was doing it like, okay, we'll see where it goes. But now it's like, I look forward to it every week. It's just a ton of fun. Like, sit around and goof off with Hunter. Especially because half the time, like, we just forget whatever story it is and just go down rabbit holes.
You started to do that a lot more, where you just like riffing. Where you choose shorter stories, but you just like the Mr. Wellas and all sorts of shit. It's very
it's like
fun.
picking jokes and stuff like that. There were a bunch of people when we did the live show who like had made art out of side tangents and stuff like that. Do you remember the bit, like the story Hunter told about his grandpa shooting his dog?
I wanted to... That.
Could you please, for the people who haven't, reiterate?
For the heathens who don't watch CreepCast, no, I'm kidding.
Fuck you.
So when Hunter was a child, he had this memory that his disabled grandfather, who is like paralyzed in a wheelchair or paralyzed from the waist down or whatever, had a rifle across his lap and accidentally shot the family dog, and they put him in a home.
Next to Hunter, by the way.
Yeah, Hunter was sitting next to the dog. And then
9-year-old.
Hunter calls his mom on the show because I was like making fun of him for it. He's like, tell Isaiah what happened. And his mom informs us that it was not an accident, that she believes his grandfather tried to kill Hunter when he was a child and just accidentally shot the dog. So it became like this whole bit.
I missed the part where she was aiming for Hunter, or he was aiming for Hunter.
What she says is... I think in the actual recording, it's like, I don't think it was an accident. I think it might have been you or something like that. So I, of course, being a good friend, was crying, laughing. I couldn't breathe. And then, so anyway, it's like, okay, that is a very...
Meat almost got killed in a drive-by.
Yeah, when he was 7 years old.
More of a roll by, but
Dude, and then Hunter, when he explains, he's like, my grandpa's like this. And William just shoots the fucking dog. And your face, you're like... Hey, we need to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm like, well, do you want to do this? Do you want to cut this? Like, I'm like, is he like opening up about something? He's like, no, it's funny. And then he calls his mom, and his mom like reframes it. So of course, I can't.
The
breathe
grandfather
laughing.
was like, I had a vision that he was going to grow up to be a YouTuber who paints his nails.
I have to stop him while I'm
Blasted, I missed.
He gets sent back in time, but he's still disabled. That's Papa Meat's granddad's offender's power. You can go back in time, but you're still crippled.
Look in the mirror. Oh no, I'm retarded. Jesus Christ. Love you, Hunter.
So when we go to the live show, like this is like a traumatic, big moment for him and everything. And the number of people who brought paintings and artwork and stuff of his grandfather in a mobility scooter with a rifle. It was insane. There was one they gave us. It was a painting of him like crying on the floor next to a dead dog and the shadow of a wheelchair and a gun barrel. It's like, well, like that's. I know we were having fun with it, but I don't know. Now I feel bad about having fun with it.
Like the cartoon of the shadow of Goofy in the doorway with the belt.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff like that. It is funny though. I haven't had any explicit trauma come out on the podcast yet, so I think I'm fine.
I mean,
so
the
as
one
long as
I'm-
it's all directed towards him, that's fine.
The one I'm watching, the most recent one, you're talking about that fucking house.
Okay, well that wasn't trauma. That was a memory that was almost potential trauma. I hope.
Or, well, you said you had nightmares about it.
I did, but I don't.
That's trauma.
Like,
Nothing probably happens at the house if I had to
they were
guess.
clearing a house that, like, their on your grandfather's
My grandfather
property,
owned, yeah.
and then you got by the can man. If I recall.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop. Quit
Let me
talking.
clarify real quick.
That's why you're saying you don't have trauma from it.
Did you run for office? Calm down.
I wouldn't recommend it. Turns out some of this shit don't look good on paper.
I went to a property my grandfather owned, and my dad and I was like 9 or 10 at the time. We were clearing it out, and there was some homeless person had made like a cot, and there's like empty food cans around it and stuff. So it's like, oh, someone's been living in the house.
Just squatter type shit.
Yeah, just squatter type. So we drag the stuff out and leave it outside because it's like, come get your stuff, but we're trying to fix the house back up. So we go stay back at my grandfather's house, which was on the same property, like in eyeshot of the old house. And the next day we go back to that house, and all of the stuff had been moved back inside. But this is also a house in like the middle of nowhere, like middle of woods. So either this dude is walking back and forth like 10 miles through the trees every day, or that guy was in the house at the property while we were also at the property, clearing it and stuff like that. So as a kid, I used to have nightmares about that house, different scenarios. And there's this one recurring nightmare I had of like a face on the top of the stairs looking down at me. And Hunter was like, no, that happened. That absolutely happened. Hunter affectionately refers to him as the can man. And he was like, that guy for sure. You know what? If that is like a repressed memory, I hope it stays repressed. I don't want it elaborated on. I hope I die and never learn anything else.
That guy has a can-do attitude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brandon, appreciate it. How long was that one just up there?
You're getting rapid fire, dude. There's no censor here.
All right.
Yeah, I love how
good to see you too.
He's gaslighting you into like reframing your childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm. He does it a lot. Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Meanwhile, like most of us are impossible to gaslight because we don't have any memory of what happened and we don't care.
Yeah.
So make up whatever story you want.
It's that easy.
I don't give a shit. Did you do this? Probably.
I remember the first episode of CreepCast. I was talking to Hunter about how when I was a kid, my dad had made me is a strong word. He was like, "You're gonna do this," and I was like, "Okay." He had me go look for a dead body with him. Someone who went missing.
Typical Appalachian behavior.
Typical Appalachian behavior.
Okay, somebody went missing and you were trying to...
Yeah, it was a family friend who went missing, but they had been missing long enough, and like they caught a guy who had stolen their car, so it's like chances aren't looking great,
I
right?
picture this as like the tutorial instruction mission of your life, level 1.
Yeah.
Well, it's way weird if no one was missing. Hey, let's go look for a dead body. Like, I haven't done this with Reagan yet. Is that
There was enough evidence around it from the police and everything that we're not going to find them in the woods. Like, well, golly, we got lost out here. Thank you all for finding us. It wasn't looking that way. 12.
Do you want to find a body?
So we go out looking for it, and we didn't find it, but a search crew that was like a couple miles up the road did find him. And I told Hunter that story, and he was like, if you would have found that body when you were 12, right now you'd be working at like Enterprise Cars. You'd be a completely normal person. But because you didn't find it, you have this bug in your brain for the rest of your life that you have to chase that high.
I love Hunter's explanations on life like that.
Dude, it's so good.
He does that a lot. Yeah, but then it turns out his grandfather tried to kill him, so what does he know? Right?
If it wasn't for the
How to
dead
dodge
dog
a bullet,
moment.
apparently.
Yeah.
That story took such a hard turn.
Usually you catch a stray, not a pet.
It's on fire, right?
I prefer the no-kill loving homes.
At every live show we went to, I'd just say the word dog. And the whole audience would start snickering. Like it was like a wave that went through them of like realizing once they're like, oh, your grandfather tried to kill you. And like, yeah.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, idiot.
His mom was at one of the shows, right?
His mom was at the Phoenix show. And I was like, did Hunter's grandfather shoot that dog? And she was like, yes. Like, definitively.
Have you heard this story?
No.
Yeah,
This is awesome.
yes, watch CreepCast if you're interested.
Solid episode.
All we did at our live shows was make everybody sing the J.G. Wentworth jingle.
J.G. Wentworth.
Yeah, that's totally all that happened.
Yep,
That's
that's
it.
all that
That's it.
happened at the live shows.
Definitely was
90
2
minutes.
hours of redacted.
How many live shows do you guys do?
So for CreepCast, we did 4. We did 4 over from October 24th to Halloween. So
Where'd you guys do that?
We did them in Boston. So our original plan was we were going to hit like scary cities and then LA because everyone's in LA. So
pretty scary city.
It's a pretty scary city. We were going to do Salem and then New Orleans and Phoenix because our most popular episode, Left Right Game, is set in Phoenix.
Oh, no shit.
So, and then LA. But they were like, there's no theater in Salem that's available during Halloween weekend or the week of. So Boston, close enough. So we did Boston, New Orleans, Phoenix, and LA.
Nice.
And we did all the shows were really well. I will say the LA one was kind of rushed because on that one, we did the show in Phoenix on the 30th. The next morning flew and then did the show that night. So it was like so.
Well,
Oh, man, you had to fly from Phoenix to LA. We did Norfolk to San Diego.
the next
Oh.
day.
The next day.
And then that night you went on? All right, I'll shut up.
Oh, and then the next day flew to Dallas. And then what we did, like all of ours back to back to back to back.
Oh my gosh!
It was.
Yeah.
We'll never
I did
do that
one
again.
time and was like, no. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Our one show was like that. I was like, this is horrible.
Smart.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's called a lesson learned.
The fucking rest of first class on that flight from Norfolk to California was pissed because all of us were just shit faced.
And we were cracking ourselves off, dude.
We
And the
thought we
flight
were
attendants
hilarious.
loved it too.
Yeah, y'all were having a good time.
They actually did.
Yeah,
love
they
us.
had a blast.
Was it the one where they were bringing us the airplane bottles by like the fucking dozen?
Yeah.
Just like, take
she's
more,
like,
keep talking.
Just like this kid.
Here's a glass of orange juice and 4 vodkas to start off. I was like,
They were like,
all right.
how big like the little tray table is between it. It's like, we need that many vodkas, please.
One of the flights we drank all their alcohol. They told us that.
I think that was this most recent strain.
It was this.
Yeah, that was
it
Austin to
last
San
shoot.
Antonio flight. I think.
The 30-minute.
We're out.
So the unsubscribed host drank the plane.
And then the one flight we ended up running into Kevin.
Oh, Kevin Brittingham, yeah.
that first class was also a nightmare.
Every time.
We ran into Kevin Brittingham, who, the creator of Q. You're going to see him around the podcast a lot. And we were sitting at a bar in Boston waiting on our flight, or waiting to go to Boston. And then Kevin runs up and he's like, "What's up, fuckers?" And we're like, "Oh, shit, Kevin's here."
Because we did the like, hey, that guy looks like Kevin.
That guy's wearing an aim point shirt.
We did the, we did the Spider-Man pointing meme. We're like, oh shit, it's Kevin. He invented
8 points
that.
trying to impersonate Kevin.
8-6 blackout.
Shit. Yeah, have you seen that yet?
I actually have seen this.
Have you shot it yet?
I've not shot it. I was hanging out with
Tomorrow.
Umbaville, Caleb, and he has one, and it's pretty sick.
Bro, the boombox and that
Look at
gun
that.
is
Such a wild round.
nasty.
And it is so
Yeah.
light recoil.
Well, that's what's so cool about the round is because it still maintains, the subsonic whatever and stuff like that, but it's ballistic. It's like lethal past 50 yards, unlike everything else that's subsonic. So.
It's lethal against what is it, Cape Buffalo at 400 yards.
That's insane,
Subsonic.
bro. Absolutely not. That's so cool.
When you hit the steel with it, it is like the pistol tree, the challenge, like the racing tree. When you hit the top, any of them, like the other ones try to swing because of the force. That
The whole thing's just
round
like,
is-
fuck!
Yeah.
Man.
When Cody started his crazy business of podcasting, you know what he didn't think about? Merchandise. But now he's selling what?
Merch. And it couldn't be easier.
All because of Shopify.
If you've shopped on bunkerbranding.com, you've used Shopify.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business.
From the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders? ! Shopify's there to help you grow.
From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS, that means point of sale, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered.
Once you start selling, Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment.
Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers using the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms.
And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic.
Your AI-powered all-star.
Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen.
My favorite companies.
What is that?
No clue, but they also power millions of other entrepreneurs across 175 countries.
Because businesses that grow with Shopify.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/unsubpod. All lowercase.
Go to shopify.com/unsubpod now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in.
Go to shopify.com/unsubpod.
Will you explain the physics behind that? Because you summed it up pretty fucking easy, and I actually understood it for once.
So basically, we have a typical rifle twist. You have something like a more aggressive one is like a 1 in 7 on shorter AR-15s and stuff. So that means for every 7 inches of barrel, you get 1 full rotation. A lot of times you get like 1 in 8, 1 in 9, 1 in 10. The 8.6 blackout uses 1 to 3. So every 3 inches, you're getting a full rotation, which is hot, which means you're not just talking about linear velocity, which you're capped because it's subsonic at under roughly about 1,000 feet per second. Now you have rotational velocity, which doesn't break the sound barrier, so you're fine. So you can store a lot more energy in rotational, and it also opens up like a goddamn drill bit.
I haven't even thought about the rotational
centrifugal
speed
force is
carrying
what-
energy. I haven't thought about that before.
That's when it hits those, like your standard AR, when they first came out, it was like 1 to 17 twitch. So like really slow. And they're like, oh, Kevin finally developed that in the 300.
Because it fucks your barrel life.
Dude,
No,
but when
yeah.
it hits those ballistic dummies or ballistic gels, it is popping them off the table because that centrifugal force shooting it up like
Has
blows up
has
things.
that been observed in any calibers before? Like the rotational?
Not to that degree.
Yeah.
They usually, because it's bad for barrel life and it's a bunch of other stuff.
Sure,
And there's
yeah.
honest, and especially if you're not caring about subsonic, there's no reason to do it. But yeah, for example, that specifically was pulled out of a zebra.
Oh my god.
So he just goes to Africa and just hunts cool shit with it.
That is
I,
insane.
Me and Demo Matt did a video because I wanted to. He's like, oh, I have all these houses that we have to tear down because they're full of black mold and we have to get rid of them. I was like, we have to recreate the meme. You know, the meme of like, what if there's a bad guy behind my neighbor's refrigerator? I wanted to know the smallest caliber. So like we went out and we figured it out. And we just like stepped it up. We went from like 22, 9 mil, 5.56, 7.62, but 308, whatever. And 8.6 went all the way through the house and got caught in the last exterior wall before exiting the house.
Oh my gosh. And how far away were you through
the fridge.
It was like 30, through a fridge, through several more interior walls, through the kitchen cabinets,
Was that
and
subs?
then got caught. Yeah, it was subs.
That's what's terrifying.
That
Having it
is
at a bedside.
ridiculous.
The horrifying part.
Sorry, kids.
The horrifying part is it stores so much energy. It started keyholing after like the third interior wall, and the keyholes of that monster are like just going through the house, and it.
I guess it's that extreme like rotational energy.
Yeah.
Like after
It's a drill bit.
Because where it's sub, it's not going that fast, but all that energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just enough that the round keeps tumbling.
That and the
Same
inertia,
direction.
it's like a 300 grain projectile. So it's like, fuck.
Gosh.
The typical 5.56 is what, 55?
55, yeah.
Again, that is what you're hit with.
Such a ridiculous round. My gosh.
It's the fattest fucking round.
Thanks, Kevin.
Is it like
best.
right now? Is it just fired out of like bolt guns?
No, the boom
No,
box.
the boombox is like it's a 5.5 pound, like honey badger style, like
But it's that.
shorty
Yeah.
AR-10.
SBR, yeah.
Oh my
Dude, they have
God.
a 4-inch barrel one.
That
and
is
it ran
terrifying.
No,
awesome.
more terrifying. I could hold it one-handed out and full auto it. And that is 308.86 full auto.
This is full auto.
Bro.
It's stupid.
That is a scary round. My word. I have to have one.
It's so
You'll meet
like,
Kevin tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kevin wants to meet you
that's
guys.
so cool.
Oh, Kevin will be there tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kevin wants to meet
There's
you
alcohol.
guys.
Kevin will be
you
there.
Oompa. Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, I want to meet these guys. I was like, good, we got you. Dude, you coming off a tour? What was your favorite? You probably refined it that first time. You're like, okay, I got to walk this in, make sure timing, especially with you guys. You're like reading and then trying to keep it alive with the audience.
The first show was like kind of a little antsy going into it because like we kind of know at this point like story length with us riffing and stuff like that about how long it takes, and we guessed the first story was going to be 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I think we ended at 2 hours and 21 minutes. So I'm like, that was pretty close. But I remember during it, like I kept like checking my watch. But then the 3 shows after that, I was like, I've got it. Like we know where it's at. The Phoenix show went especially long because we changed up the stories a bit. That got closer to 3 hours.
Like total runtime.
Total runtime, yeah.
Wild live show. I know.
Which stories were you telling on your live tours?
So for 3 of them, we did
Stealthy.
The original. That was so smooth. The original plan.
8.6, it's fine. You can't hear it.
We were gonna do Goatman, and then we were gonna do a funny one in the middle, and then we were going to end on a story called Mayhem Mountain. Because that's one, it has like a bunch of speaking lines and stuff like that. But then after we did the first show, Hunter loved Laughing Jack so much. He thought it was so ridiculous that he was like, we have to do this for every show afterwards. So that it just stayed those 3 through most of them. Phoenix, we mixed it up a bit just to try something else. Yeah, Goatman, Laughing Jack, and Mayhem Mountain, which Laughing Jack is such a stupid story. The audience loved it.
You described it as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, at the end, it's like 5 pages, and it ends with a woman's child getting crucified to his bedroom wall.
Still beating heart with photorealistic blood.
And she stabs him in the heart.
Oh god, it's one of those cheese balls.
Yeah. It's like a Jeff the Killer, like ridiculous level, whatever. Which is why the audience loved it so
The
much.
Sonic.exe.
And then Sonic.exe.
I had never heard that.
Oh, you never heard that before?
No, that was my first time listening to it. I knew obviously the internet lore behind it and shit, but that was my first time hearing it, was hearing the live show recordings.
Yeah, Sonic.exe is like a classic, right? Because of how terrible it is. It's like the magnum opus of horrible early internet storytelling. It's like the same verbs and words used over and over and stuff. So of course it made for a good time. Everyone liked it, yeah.
It's just shitty enough to work.
Exactly, yeah.
What was it like when you how big was your audiences for this?
It varied a lot depending on room. I know some of them were like 300 to 350 area, and I think our biggest one was, I think LA was 400. I'm pretty sure. So it was
like
a
our
300
first tour.
400.
Yeah, you do that first tour, and then you're like, that first show though, that nerves. I mean, the amount of nerves we all felt on that first show, because you walk out sold out, and you're like 400 people. Again, we've said this a million times. We are used to like, hey, 1 million people we're talking to behind a fucking screen.
Yeah, there's no one. I can't see 1 million.
I had a
people right
Rich.
now.
Rich saved me all my nerves on that first show.
Rich gets.
Do you know Angry Cops?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, our very first show, he walks out in a kilt as we're playing Dropkick Murphys and gets up on his chair and moons the entire audience. And I was like, well, I'm going to be fine. Actually, I have nothing to be embarrassed of now. He's actually naked in front of everybody. Fuck it. I mean,
Good.
You're supposed to picture the audience naked, Rich. Oh.
That is a palate cleanser. That's
that was at the start.
That was the first 5 seconds of our first live show.
Yeah.
I know, I was so scared. I was so scared going up there. I'm like, I've never been in front of this many people before. And then there's Rich's asshole next to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, everything's good.
Everything's fine. What was it? Who's the most nervous? Like Papa Meat. Hunter hates being in front of people.
Everyone's Amber Alert just went off.
Yeah.
Right? No, so,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of YouTubers around, so I figured it was
Amber Alert, drink.
I hate that more.
That's worse.
That
is way worse than the joke.
Why do you think we're drunk all the time and I won't move my family here?
I don't think that. Oh God.
You're laughing. I'm dead serious. That's the reason I haven't moved
all
here.
the YouTubers start landing, and any like children there start fading away. It's like, oh no!
The Thanos snap. The range day. The God. You're supposed. The plus one's supposed to be somebody you bring.
Not take.
No, we didn't invite any Minecraft YouTubers. We're fine.
Okay, gotcha.
I heard
There
that.
it is.
Yeah, more going on.
Like I said, a lot of YouTubers.
Were you guys at
I turned them off. I'm not a
Demo
I'm not a good
Ranch's
person.
10 million subscriber party? There were like 12 Amber Alerts that one night. It's like, all right, there's another one.
Throw Demo under the bus. You're like, hey, Demo.
For the record, it wasn't related.
It wasn't his idea at all.
Cody's like, I don't know. Where was he that night? Do you know? I don't know.
Were you excited to get in front of the audience? Like,
Oh yeah,
like,
I was, because by that time I had done the Stalker movie tour, so I was like, I can do this. Like now going
was
into
fun.
that first one,
That was awesome, by the way.
which
That
by
was
the
so
way,
fun.
thank you guys very much for coming to that. That meant a lot. That was very cool.
We'll come for
guys.
you anytime.
Y'all are
Absolutely.
all right. Well, thanks to you two for doing that. Yeah. And I know you would have anyone besides
yeah,
Cody.
just-
Yeah. You just have his thank you.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
It was funny because I couldn't let you go without the fucking Jeff Goldblum impression bit.
Yeah, that.
It was funny listening to that on the podcast on CreepCast.
I remember seeing you like holding a microphone. I was like, please, 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 please. Oh, thank God. What's he gonna say?
This could go. I've seen the trips to the bar. This could go real off the rails.
Brandon, where's this going?
But to be fair, one of your managers found me out there while we were talking to fans and shit like that. They're just like, hey, he's doing Q&A. You want to go like say something funny? And I'm just like, hell yeah, I will. But that was pretty
you
good.
guys being there meant a lot. I appreciate it.
We did make your security very unsafe.
I-
unsafe. They're like, what are you guys doing? Because we're like gangling up, like, what do we do? Like, how do we talk?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because we were facing away because we didn't want to reveal the surprise that we were there.
Oh, so
Very
it was just,
suspicious.
It was just a bunch of
outside
tall
looking
men
in.
facing away, like
Hands
whispering
in
to
pockets,
themselves.
like in the line to go meet the talent.
There were a bunch of people who showed up like in
Worked out.
like cosplay for the Stalker characters, which meant like full Russian kit and fatigues and stuff like that. And like every time they had like a 20-minute conversation with security and then got in line. It's like, yeah, I wonder why.
Open all the pockets.
I can only imagine what your all show was like.
Nashville. We're sitting in the green, we're like, blah, 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 blah. Their head of security walks in, manager of the location's like, hey, our people, the co-workers and staff are very worried about your audience. Like
They're very uncomfortable.
Yeah, uncomfortable. It's like, what do you have to worry about?
They're
you
so
look
nervous,
outside.
too.
Well, they were like, well, if you see any guns, or they're worried they're going to bring guns in, blah blah blah. Like, and I told them like, dude, if our people bring in guns, you're not going to see them. That didn't really.
And then the first guy that
Wow,
walked,
Brandon, incredible negotiations.
He didn't like that.
first guy walks in with an AT4. You're like,
Unloaded. It's a tube.
In his defense, he was cosplaying me and Brandon.
We did. I forgot. That was the first time we met.
Dude, that's like...
You won't see any
That's
guns.
that's technically our first collab on a video because that's on my main channel still.
Oh, that's true.
Telling
Yeah.
that story.
We walked into a fucking nightclub in San Antonio because a rapper friend of ours, Zeus, shout out, good homie. But he's
why
like,
did you say rapper friend?
he's a rapper.
He's a rapper.
I know.
He's a rapper. It explains why he's shooting a music video.
Oh, I didn't know. You didn't say that part.
Yeah, he's filming a music video in some nightclub, and he's just like, "Hey," he's like, "Come hang out." And like, I asked him about the AT4 thing because he like, "Do you have anything big and cool to bring?" I'm like, sure. So I bring out the AT4, and we were walking from the parking lot.
Brandon's wearing jeans and fucking flip flops,
and like a Hawaiian shirt. I'm pretty sure.
We're walking through two security guards.
Oh yeah, the guys in the parking lot, like mall security kind of dudes, but cool dudes.
But with real guns.
Yeah.
And Brandon's like, "Hey, this is fake, just so you know." And the guy's like, "It's an AT4. I wasn't going to stop you."
He's like, I couldn't have done anything anyway.
And then Brandon's like being the mature adult here because he's got like federal licenses and shit he has to worry about. And he's like, "I just want to like let the manager of the bar know that this is a prop. It's not real. Like it was real. It's no longer real. Whatever."
Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
Go ahead.
They came over, like the owner of the bar, one of the owners of the bar came over, was like, "Yeah, just you're cool, like Zeus is a friend, just make sure that you don't fire it." And I was like, "You are fucking way more chill than I ever would have thought."
Just don't fire it.
It's a tube. There's nothing in it. We couldn't fire that if we wanted to.
Some managers come up. Don't worry, I said don't fire it. Thanks, it's covered.
Safety's on. We're fine.
And then I think
Don't fire it.
I got drunk and I'm dressed like me. And I just started sitting at the front door on a stool, pretending like I was a security guard and IDing people as they were coming in. And nobody questioned.
That one chick that like she showed her ID and she was like 20.
Yeah.
And you were just like, honestly, this isn't my job.
Close enough.
It was like 2021, 2022 at this point in time. And she was born in like 2004. And I was like, the math was so easy. I was hammered and I did it instantly. And I was like, "You're not 21." And she just looks at me and I go, "All right, here you go."
I like your spirit, kid.
the balls to show your real ID to a bouncer when you're like fucking 18.
That's a crazy, like, just the whole bar security, because the one guy saw you walking in and was like, "It's in God's hands now." And then after that, the guy who showed up with the guy with the rocket launcher is just letting people in the door, and he's like, "So be it."
The guy has a rocket launcher.
The guy has a rocket launcher. What am I going to do? Tell him to stop.
I have the talking tube.
You should have been checking ID.
That is a shirt. I have the talking to.
With
That is good merch.
That merch is now available on Bunker Branding.
I have the talking to. Get that going,
Text me
show.
that so I remember it, please.
I have the talking to.
You should have been holding that while you were checking ID. So,
I mean, to be fair, like if the cops showed up, it'd be like, "All right, I need to see everybody. Is that a fucking rocket launcher?"
The cops are normally like, "Yo, can I check that out?"
yeah, most of the time they're like chill. When I was up in North Carolina doing the disaster relief stuff and all that, I remember we were walking to a school and everyone was like kit, like carriers. This was like a couple days afterwards, and rifles. A cop comes up and he was like, "Hey, you boys need anything?" And we're like, "No, we're just going to the school." And he's like, "All right, let us know if you need anything. Appreciate y'all," and just drove off.
The fucking big city mind could never.
Could never comprehend.
No.
Yeah. The strange world, strange times. Yeah.
Too bad they were
Seriously,
out
I'm-
that day.
Good thing it wasn't Uvalde. But I'm very interested, dude. I am super interested to know what you've been doing up in the Appalachians with the hurricane relief things that you've been doing. Like, what's going on?
I appreciate that. I also didn't mean to bring that up as a segue. I was on the cop school, but as a segue, appreciate it.
Sure he did.
It's all
Bringing
going
in his
according
Medal of
to,
Honor in this.
it's all going according to plan. No,
So about that, how much goes to administrative cost, and how much do you pocket personally?
thank you all for watching the show. I appreciate it.
Who has the tokens, Haley? Get fucked. CreepCast and Unsubscriber are higher than your podcast now.
There's a corporation.
I said on a CreepCast episode, I said if by the end of the year, CreepCast has not passed Talk to a Podcast, I will myself live on air. So thank God she did a crypto scheme.
Haley Welch kept you out of heaven.
Talk to a get me out of heaven.
Talk to a St. Peter, because
talk to us.
St. Peter would be so confused. What the fuck are you doing
like-
here?
he's just
I
looking-
died 2,000 years ago. What the f- do these words mean?
Me explaining to a 13th century peasant who went to hell for lust what Talk and meme coins are. Yeah.
Talking to a Roman peasant who stole an onion. All right. We're going to be here for a minute.
So there's this thing called the blockchain that you can make crypto on.
Meanwhile, Mahatma Gandhi's just like, oh,
She
yeah.
was doing a street interview in Nashville and made a really funny joke.
The Coinbase is like the king's garden, really.
Jesus.
You had senators, right? Just imagine she was one of those. Same thing.
How are you helping with disaster relief? I believe was the
Yeah,
topic.
that was it. Thank you.
That tangent.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We went like 15 minutes. I'm proud of us before. So yeah, the disaster relief stuff. So for those who don't know, North Carolina especially, but most of like Southern Appalachia got hit really hard by Hurricane Helene. North Carolina alone sustained, I think it's $52 billion in damages to roadways and houses and stuff. Current death toll is I think it capped 250 the other day. Or past it, but like the missing people's numbers goes anywhere from like 40 to like several hundred. So I think it'll be a long time before they have like a solid number for what the damage was. But I had a bunch of friends who lived in the region, so a bunch of them whose like houses got destroyed or like not their houses didn't get destroyed. People around their houses got destroyed. Some of my friends had house damage, but all their stuff still livable. So I went with them to do disaster relief stuff, and while I was there, just felt led to partner with them to create a charity, a nonprofit, to basically fund what they were already doing in the region, because a lot of my friends were just paying out of pocket to like get people temporary housing, put people's stuff back together, which was really generous but not very sustainable.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, let's put together a nonprofit, let's get funds so we can try to help these people out. So yeah, we've been doing a ton of stuff. We've been rebuilding a bunch of houses, been getting people like whose houses are completely gone, things like campers, temporary living situations and stuff like that. Even little stuff like Christmas coming up, we like holding a toy drive, some of the like spruce pine and stuff like that, try to get people. So just all kinds of stuff for a community that needs a lot of help right now. But yeah, that flood was wild.
How much did you raise during that process?
So I made a YouTube video and then I did a merch drop, and the profits from the merch went to that, as well as like raw donations. And between like that and the video's ad rev and sponsor and all that, I think we're over $250,000 now.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's go, dude.
Pretty sure we're around that number. Thank you. Yeah. Well,
No, that's fine,
no,
dude.
no,
It is. You are on the ground too. Like as you were saying, you're not just doing it behind the screen. That's what we do. You were actually on the ground. Like wow.
Well,
we suck. 100%.
Well,
Nobody needed to be under that bus. But
I threw us all under that
there
bus
was a
together.
bus, and he was like, "Let's go."
I just seen the bus.
No,
I'm coming, Haley.
Yeah, we're dropping cum coin next week, actually.
I'm coming, Hawk Tua. It's so funny to just call her Hawk Tua. You don't know the name.
Yes, Mrs. Tua.
I talked to her to you.
The fact that people fell for the Hawk Tua pump and dump will never be beaten.
There was one tweet that was like, I love Talk Tua, but I invested my life savings into this, and I could not quit laughing. It was like just that alone. Imagine explaining that to a Roman peasant.
Well,
We're just closing that book.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Good try. Good try.
I'm assuming it's a lever. And then they fall down to shoot.
Also, the phrase "hawk to a pump and dump." Jesus
I
Christ!
know.
Who would have foreseen this rug pull?
Fuck it, I should call her kind of moment. It's like,
I should call.
Oh no!
Unprecedented times, gentlemen.
just that sentence alone would kill a Victorian child.
Yeah, I think so. I remember as soon as that happened, my wife sent me the tweet about it, like whatever, like Haley Welch crypto scheme, whatever. And she sends it to me and says, "The brightest stars burn the quickest."
My wife texts me about it, and she's like, why is she in trouble? And she knows nothing about crypto. I go, this is going to take me at least 20 minutes to explain the background. She's like, I don't care. All right, good. I love you.
That's called marital communication.
You don't want this to happen. What's about to happen?
Yeah.
You don't mean it.
Imagine if you were a crypto bro. It's kind of one of those, like, you asked about a train. It's like, honey, buckle up. You can't control the next 20 minutes, and I'm not stopping until I'm done.
You asked about a train. But
On the ground helping people.
because on the ground. Thank you. This side's the angel on my shoulder, and this side's the devil on my shoulder.
That's your dad.
I know. They share a lot. Angel's a strong word, but anyway.
Join me.
I was there for a little while, but now most of what I'm doing is just administrative board member stuff. Like my friends who are also board members are like they're working, like laboring every day as a part of it. So I don't like. Yes, I was there, but they're the ones who are there, right? They're the ones who are doing a lot of the work, coordinating money and resources and things like that. I just made a YouTube video and put some money up, which was definitely something within my wheelhouse I was able to do, but it's a lot easier to make a YouTube video than it is to repair a church for 3 weeks when you don't know how to repair a church, which is like what all my friends are doing.
And
right
it's
now, so.
done.
Yeah.
Falls out.
Yeah, I'm done with the video. I'm like, no need to thank me while they're all like sweating and digging out basements and stuff
I
like
did that.
Yeah.
The second recovery fund really just didn't go as well.
It's still super awesome to see you on the
Thank
ground
you.
and like doing that. That was like,
Well, I mean,
we all were like, holy shit, homeboy's killing it.
I appreciate it, but I mean, at the same time, like, you know, if your neighbor has a tree fall in their yard, I'd like to think I know the guys at this table are the kind of guys to go help them pull it out. It was just a lot of neighbors and a lot of trees all at once.
It's a good way of putting it.
And a lot of water, whole lot of water. It's like, yeah,
Because it's just like people make fun of us. They're like, oh, we get snowstorms in the north all the time. Like, why is it such a big deal in Texas? It's like, well, the infrastructure is just not there for it. It's just like, yeah, how often do you get fucking huge hurricanes in the goddamn mountains?
8 hours inland,
Yeah.
or 7 hours inland.
Shit,
Yeah.
just it doesn't happen historically.
There, a bunch of people who were there had worked like Katrina, they had worked Ivan, a bunch of like big hurricanes, and they said this is one of the, like, obviously the kill count of this wasn't as high as something like Katrina. Katrina's was so massive because you have such a concentrated number of people getting hit at once, and the levees broke, so the whole city went underwater. But in the mountains, they're like, this is one of the most devastating ecological ones we've ever seen because the water has nowhere to go. If you have a hurricane hit the coast, a few days after the hurricane's done, the water levels recede, right? But in the mountains, it just kept cascading and like the rivers stayed up and just kept causing problems.
What were the mosquitoes like?
Oh my gosh, they were everywhere. What
Just
was
that much
really
standing water everywhere?
What was really everywhere the whole time was yellow jackets because all of them got flooded everywhere once, and every single one you came across was like, you did this. You're the reason I don't have a home anymore.
What's up, fuckface?
So the whole time you're outside, you're like fighting these things off constantly because they're all mad. They were everywhere. There's a bunch of mosquito stuff
Goddamn
like
yellers.
that.
I was like, I'm just trying. What, yeller with the hard R? Goddamn.
Why'd you make bees racist?
He's just like, you're just repairing a church.
That's why.
Repairing a church
bees.
out of nowhere, just a yellow jacket.
They were mad the whole time. We had a bunch. It was weird. You had a bunch of people like getting sick because there's people who like relied on like river water and stuff like that. But now like the river's full of like E. coli, and a bunch of people are getting like Legionnaire's disease and stuff like that. Like a bunch of people were getting sick.
I'm actually not familiar with Legionnaire's disease.
What's that?
It's my wife has a better explanation for this. It's basically like a flu. It comes from the Legionella bacteria. So it causes like intense stomach problems and stuff like that. Think like a heavy flu. You throw up a lot and stuff like that.
I thought it was
mostly from like standing water.
Well, what mostly happened is you had water levels get higher than they've ever been, at least since like the community's been set up and stuff like that. So you had all of this runoff going into the water from farms, from houses and stuff. So you've got a lot of like poop getting in the water. You have a lot of like dead animals and stuff getting in the water. Because rivers that went from like crystal clear, you could see all the way to the bottom, are now, they look like mud. Like it's, yeah.
I thought it was going to be some like cool story like World War I, French Foreign Legion or some shit like that.
My brain immediately went to like Roman legionnaires. I was like, there's some cool shit.
No, I'm
But
sorry.
no,
It's
really
just
hand
people getting
signals.
sick. I apologize. Sorry, we're not cool
Yeah,
enough for you.
I'm sorry. Well,
But no, it was weird seeing like issues like that because it's weird to be in like the modern, because there was one community we went to where there was a few houses cut off on the other side of a river because the bridge got taken out, which these floodwaters got so bad they were just taking out like concrete bridges as they went, and there was a family on the other side who came down to the river to wash their clothes and then got so sick from putting on clothes that had been in the river water, they had to get evac'd by helicopter.
Jesus.
Like, it's like you don't think about that kind of thing, like in a flood, people getting like intense stomach illness and stuff.
Yeah, like you
It's
said,
weird.
it's got like shit and dead things mixed into it. That's wild.
Yeah.
My
Water is extremely
favorite thing about watching the community come together up there is when the government was like, "Yeah, you can't build a road through here," and you have all these Appalachian boys and backhoes and bulldozers are like, "No, we're building a fucking road," and they're just going through all these government blockades to build roads.
After like a week or two, nearly everywhere either got cleared out by people who had their own equipment or they made a new one through the woods. Like there's one, that same community we went to where the bridge was cut off, the roadway to get in looked like a bomb went off. It like you had this pavement roadway that went along the side of a mountain that now what used to be a 30-foot ravine is now just shattered all the way across it. So there's, even if you could get the equipment to rebuild a road, there's no more hillside to build the road on. You have to blast out the rock again. So it's like you can't build there, but a bunch of guys with like four-wheelers and bulldozers and stuff just went straight through the woods over the top of the hill, just tore up trees and stuff like that. So they were getting four-wheelers in and out of the region. Like everywhere you either had people like, okay, we can't use the road, we're going to build a new one now. I talked about it a lot in the video, so I won't rehammer the same point, but the level of community was insane. Like I didn't think
drinking.
people were, like it was
Community.
if like people weren't actively like injured, they were helping. And then people who did, like the lady who was running the aid station lost, her and her husband lost their business, their vehicles, and their home. And then they went to a school for shelter and started running an aid station out of the shelter. Like everyone who was helping out also lost everything, but they were just in line with everyone else. It was insane. It was really awe-inspiring to see that level of togetherness. People are cool.
That's a rare thing to see. Like it is almost like what happened after 9/11. It's usually like a big disaster happens, everyone rallies, but you guys are so remote anyways. I'm assuming in those areas where it is actually tight-knit communities.
Well, it is tight-knit communities for sure. It's very much so like you trust your neighbor, you know, say hi and bye, you know, as you pass and stuff like that. But even then, like community to this degree was near unheard of. We'd be like 30 miles outside of like, you know, the main road, or at least 30 miles, like counting the path to get up there. And we would come across another group of guys we've never met before who are also like on dirt bikes, taking water, food, stuff like that. And in the first few days of it, it'd be like, okay, what do you have? It's like, well, we have a doctor at this location. We have some supplies. We're trying to get like, do you have any insulin? It's like, oh yeah, we have insulin at this location. So we were setting up like dead drops and like time hacks for when we were going to meet each other and stuff like that. There were guys coming back to base. We were like, did you meet anyone? And my buddy rolls up his sleeve. He's like, there's a doctor up so-and-so road who says they have medicine for blah, blah. He was just like taking notes on his arm as they were out and stuff like that. It was wild, especially because like
That's fucking wild.
all communications were down. So to do anything, we just communicated with time hacks because that's all we had. So we would go, we had a whiteboard set up at our base camp. And it was like, we're going, like, I am with so-and-so and so-and-so. We're going to these three places. We will be back here by 4 p.m. If we're not back here by 4 p.m., come look for us. Right?
It's literally like an apocalypse scenario.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, hey, we don't have comms or anything. Here's where we're going.
I did have this weird moment where we were like in the middle of nowhere. I was hiking dog food up to this group of people. And we came across this other group who was also looking for people to help. And they were like, we need more, if you have any like gasoline, we could use gasoline for storage. And like we were trying to coordinate people at like insulin and stuff. So we were like, we could do an exchange like gasoline for insulin and stuff. And I'm like, where am I right now? This is weird. Yeah. And it's like, cool, we'll meet
Mexican
here.
standoff
coordinate.
happened.
And then as we're talking, like,
ended it up.
because at this point, this was like a weekend or a little over a weekend. The like government was sending a bunch of like starting to send aid, coordinate stuff like that. So as we're doing all of this, there's like Chinooks all over the place. It's like as we're talking to each other, like a low flying Chinook, like stuff. I'm like, this is so weird.
This is just like the video game.
I'm in the video game. It's like I'm in North Carolina. It's strange, you know. It's weird.
That'd be wild.
To be
feel
fair,
that in
like
America.
as somebody who grew up in North Carolina, seeing Chinooks all the time and not trusting your neighbors and everybody having guns pointed at each other and like bartering, like that was pretty much just what it was like.
That was just life in
Fayetteville.
the mountains.
Fayetteville was fucking wild,
But
dude.
they're bartering crack, not insulin.
What's
It's a
that?
little different. A little bit different.
Insulin for gasoline is fucking
EBT for
wild.
It was weird.
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
There was one point because my buddies, who we were running basically a operations out of his dad's house. His dad was former military, so he had a bunch of connections, and he told the Army what we needed. So the Army started sending in supplies through a Chinook. So it's like me, a YouTuber, just a bunch of like rednecks, like throwing out smoke, landing a Chinook, and yeah.
Giving wrong signals. You're like, this is, I think,
Yeah, I think-
it wrecks.
This looks right. Yeah, it was
What's
weird.
up, boys? It's the trade-off. My dad's kind of a big deal.
You're in all multicam though, so like the guy's trusting your instructions. You crash a Chinook.
Oh no! There was one point we were out in the middle of
Pilot
nowhere.
looks back, he's like, I don't know, he's wearing multicam.
He looks legit.
We were walking in the middle of the woods to deliver something, and we are next to a river, and this super low flying like biplane, not military or anything, just like some yokel's plane, like it's like eye level with us, like 20 feet off the water, and he's going to the end of the cove, and he's not pulling up. And none of us said anything, and my friend goes, I was like starting to pull my phone up, and my friend goes, are you ready to run really fast? Because I think we're about to watch a crash. I have to go help that guy. Yeah, it was strange. It was unprecedented times for sure. It was very weird. It was weird, like I said, like walking on the side of the road, and the police are like, let us know if you need anything. Because they were so low on manpower, the local police, because most of them either had cadaver dogs or they were coordinating with military or something like that. They asked if we could take rifles and go guard a couple of the aid stations, just because we were people they knew in the community.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, sure, because the day prior, one aid station had been robbed at gunpoint, and there's another story down the road of one getting robbed at knife point. They're like, we can't spare the manpower. Can you go like hold a rifle and stand down there? We're like, yes.
Hey Kyle, I got a job.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna need 2 rubber gloves and a backwards hat.
There's some riders down here, buddy. We need some help.
Uniform, OD green jeans.
Now there was like an inverse effect of that, because that was the first week, maybe 10 days of it, and then after that it was to the point where there was like police from other areas had come in, and there's enough government that's like, okay, let's not hold guns in front of grandma and grandpa unless we have to. So like we step back from it. But as soon as that phase hit, a bunch of people from outside the area who got word that it was like Mad Max, do whatever you want, started showing up. There were guys at like aid stations who were doing like threat patrols in the woods right outside of them. Like guys, like 2 weeks in, like all the roads are open up. People are like, oh, here's food and water or whatever. And they'd be in like full body armor, like walking like through people's backyards.
I saw videos of shit like that where guys are like on the way to North Carolina to do relief, and I'm looking at their loadout. It's like no medical, no supplies, no nothing. It's a dude with a shitty built PSA AR-15 and a full combat loadout. I'm like, all right, if you want to say like, okay, you're guarding a station, you want like a gun and a couple mags, like it's reasonable, it's fine.
We
but
had
like 360 rounds,
and we would keep it around our backs. We weren't like going up to kids like, "Hi, how are you?"
Low ready.
Did you lose your pet dog? That's sad. Like, no, it's like we try to be respectful of it.
Wait, Hunter was there?
Do what?
Hunter was there?
No, Hunter was not there.
Yes, he was. He was the one leading the charge.
Oh, I didn't connect. Oh my
You
God.
see like
That was
Grandpa Hot Wheels doing a wheelie in the cul-de-sac and speeding off.
It was him. He caused the flood. Actually, it was his doing.
Jesus.
Chinooking his grandpa.
I didn't mean to punch her. I was pulling my bad.
Sure. Just as a reminder, we actually do love Hunter. He's a friend.
Did you get to work with any like linemen or anybody coming in to fix power or anything?
So one of my close friends who lives up there is a lineman in the region. So that guy was like working like 16-hour shifts nonstop every day. And his wife, they actually just had their kid like a few weeks ago, but she was like 9 months pregnant when this happened. So one of the first things when like the power went out and everything, everyone was like, where is she? Is she okay? Someone go find her. And then we go find her, and she's like, yeah, I can say his name. It doesn't matter. Trey's fine. He's out, like, repairing lines. That guy worked nonstop.
Shout out to Trey.
Those
Fucking
dudes
awesome.
Dude,
were
that's
like...
all of them.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
of those dudes are crazy.
And they
came
think
in
about how
from
many people...
everywhere.
When the roads are shut down like that, like there's traffic jams and it's literally just fucking utility company line trucks with booms ready to come in and get power places. Those dudes are fucking awesome.
Think about how many people die for every 24 hours without power.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah. Especially up here because you had so many people who like had medicine in their refrigerators they relied on. You have a bunch of people because like when I say roads were gone, I mean there's like a 20-foot hole where the road used to be. So it's like if grandma and grandpa live up there, good luck, right? And if you don't have power, you can't go look for them at night. It's still raining, what are you going to do? So like power was a huge deal. I think if I remember right, it was something like 4 million customers lost power during this. Which is like insane numbers. Again, for an inland part of the mountains. So it was a huge deal to get power back on. And like my friend who lived there was obviously working all the time because that's his turf. But like a couple days afterwards, we had power line crews coming in from like
everywhere.
New York, Florida, Oklahoma, all over the country. There was a dude there from Canada who brought a bunch of supplies to help. Like
that was rad to see a lot of the guys from Florida that were like, look, we mostly fixed our shit because it hit them harder, but they had the infrastructure for it. They're ready because that happens every year in Florida. And it was cool seeing the videos where they're just like, hey guys, I know like everybody's been working around the clock here, but there's people that are dying in North Carolina. As long as everybody's cool with it, we're all just gonna rally up and fucking head up there. Which is it's really cool.
That was so cool to not only see like my community come together, but everyone like push efforts in at the same time. I remember like a few days because it was like the storm hit and no one knew how bad it was for like a couple days. Or at least I wasn't on Twitter or anything, so I wasn't checking or anything like that.
Well, it got tapered back, and then it was like, oh no, this is actually worse than we thought. And it's going to go
initially
way
what
higher.
everyone got told the day of is that there's going to be some rain. And then they had a 6-hour window.
I mean, they weren't wrong.
They were right. They had a 6-hour window from this is going to be enough that you need to be careful to the storm being there. So like, where are you going in 6 hours, right? If you're staring at the news to hear that.
Yeah.
So it just crept up on a bunch of people, and it hit the worst over the first night. So it just came out of nowhere for so many, and I didn't know how bad it was for a couple of days. I heard that there was some flood, but I didn't see a lot of it. And then, so I was in a group chat with my friends, and I was actually on my anniversary when it hit, and my wife and I, we were at the Ritz in New Orleans. So it's like a big fancy dinner, big fancy hotel. And that I heard.
So I'm just picturing you, chest hair and all, just like in a fucking bubble bath with a bottle of champagne.
Pretty much, I was literally in a suit at dinner. Like,
oh shit.
Like it was like super like ritzy, whatever.
I was thinking Scarface.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I'm the bad guy.
And we were at dinner, and I saw a tweet that was like, oh, suspected flood damage in North Carolina. So I sent the group chat, all my friends who live in the region, a picture of my food and said, my soup was kind of cold, so I'm suffering too in a way.
Aged like milk.
No. They immediately start sending messages that are like, if you have a phone signal, call this number. Let them know Charlene's alive. She's going to contact when they can. Here's a picture of so-and-so's house. We can't find his daughter. We don't know where. And I'm just like...
Wendigoon unsent a message.
I was like, Wendigoon unsends message.
I quietly scroll. I'm like, delete.
Wendigoon has left the group chat.
I was like, oh no. And then when I got there the day of, I was like, "Is everyone okay?" And he was, my buddy who lives there was like, "I saw the suit message." So you miss every now and then, you know? What do you want from me?
At least it was a group message and not a tweet.
Oh my gosh, that would have been insane.
That would have never ended.
In praise of shadows, like, yes, I
I was going to ask you about that, actually.
About what?
The In Praise of Shadows situation. How does it feel? Because I feel like we all make YouTube videos. We're all, at least me, every morning I wake up, I'm like, all right, it's today I get fucking canceled. All right, looks good. Perfect. And relief.
Yeah.
How does it feel to have another pretty decent sized YouTuber come at you hard and then be completely unscathed? I mean,
that guy rolled it too.
Like the
Me being unscathed.
Yeah, literally watching it from the sidelines, it was like a boxing match, you versus him, and then the bell rang and the crowd grabbed him and ripped him apart, and you're just standing there like,
roll for charisma. One. Yeah.
So he had a lot of problems with me. Made them very clear in the video. I remember when I initially saw, because I saw the title of the video, and I saw my face in the thumbnail, and was like, oh no. And then so I like scrubbed through the video till I get to my part, and I remember listening to it and being like, oh, this isn't really. Like, it's nothing to be worried about, right?
Yeah.
I'm like...
He didn't find the group chat.
He didn't find the group chat, yeah, exactly. He didn't find the group chat where I'm making fun of flood people, like, my soup's cold. So I was like, well, this is probably fine. And then I left a comment that was to... Because the only thing he said in there that really bothered me was he perpetuated the Sneeko thing about Brandon Buckingham. And I know that's like that has caused a ton of damage to like Brandon Buckingham, like personal relationships and stuff.
I'm
so
vaguely familiar. A quick recap without hashing out any. Like,
Brandon's a good side note. Brandon is an amazing human. Like one of my favorite.
We like Buckingham.
Yeah,
he's fucking cool.
Buckingham, he's one of the best friends that I've made on this platform, along with you guys and stuff like that. Like good people,
genuine person.
Yeah,
very deeply genuine. That guy has like a heart of gold. Like he's truly inspiring. But he got into like a fight with Sneeko. He was trying to get Sneeko to box him. And Sneeko wouldn't, and then Sneeko, Brandon had made some tweet or like post to the effect of like, better watch your girl or something like that, because there was the whole joke about Sneeko, whatever. Yeah. And then Sneeko made it out that Brandon had threatened to assault his girl. And it became a whole deal and stuff. So, In Praise of Shadows echoed that in the video as just like a thing that happened. So that was the only I wasn't going to comment, but when he said that, I was like, okay, I should probably say something.
I think he came after all of us individually, just like guilt by association.
I think, well, you guys, again, Angel and Devil, you guys were fine. You two.
I have never noticed that on the outside.
To the surprise of no one.
I didn't think about that either. It's the devils over there. We're like, hey guys.
We're like the AT&T bars of cancellation.
Well, hold on. What's that over there? Hold on. But that was the only reason I left a comment. And then it wasn't really anything I felt like I needed to defend. It was basically like, I don't like him. And I'm like, what am I going to be like? No, like me. Yeah.
We talked about it a little before, but it was my favorite part of that, where he's just like, so obviously everyone from the Appalachian Mountains judges people based on race and where they're from. And I'm just like, that is such a tone-deaf sentence.
It's
excuse me while I objectify this group of people based on where they live.
7 states or like 9 states, whatever it is.
He literally said like, unless proven otherwise. It's like, are you?
There was certainly some rough stuff in there.
You are so kind, even you're right now. Like you're like.
Here's the thing.
Just a good dude. That's why I love you, buddy.
Here's the thing, right? The only thing that really bothers me about people, the only kind of person that I can meet and be like, I'm not going to be friends with this guy. I can't talk to this guy.
Skin.
Come on over here.
Sorry,
Eli.
I'm moving.
Come on over here.
You starting to move your chairs around?
Get on my lap after that
To the left.
We would do Chinese television.
That's a great segue. Eli, we've talked a lot about your racist past. Let's talk about your racist future. Where do you see this going, actually?
He's going to be on Twitter with me.
Oh, no.
You have started to use Twitter a lot. I'm very concerned.
Oh, shit. Go on. Sorry.
Where was I? Yeah, the one thing.
You were being nice after somebody made a 38 smear video about you.
Right. So the one thing that
38-minute. Not like a John Lennon thing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
John Lennon thing.
38 smear video. I just read Catcher in the Rye.
He's still John Lennon.
The devil's side still makes him laugh.
You're catching all the jokes
So I
tonight.
keep on, I guess. The only thing that really that like I feel like I'm not gonna be able to get along with someone is if they're just like a completely unprincipled person, right? Like if someone doesn't really believe in anything, or they say they believe in something, they just don't act on it, right? Like there's very few situations where like I've cut people out, and most of the time that's happened over people just breaking promises, like cheating on their spouse, stuff like that. It's like I can't get behind it, right?
So the two things I hate is hypocrites and alcoholics.
Hey, if you talked about how you didn't drink all the time, that would apply. But you are an honest man through and through. So.
That's what I try to tell people. I'm like, whatever you see on the podcast one, what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
it's just like hanging out with us in person.
Yeah, there's no second face.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of people have second faces, and like maybe I'm not gonna be rude to anyone for no reason, smile and get along, but as long as someone's legitimate, right?
Yeah.
And this is so weird to say, but during the entire In Praise of Shadows video, I never felt that he was faking it. I never felt that guy was like, I am adopting these opinions because they are the common consensus. It's what the internet wants to hear, right? I truly believe in everything that he said, that he believed it. And I think even if like, I'll get to that in a second, even if later like some points he was like, I didn't stand by, or like I went too far with the speech and stuff like that, it all came from him. It wasn't him just lying and stuff like that.
He just had nuclear grade bad takes.
I am sure if me and him sat down and talked, we would disagree on like at least half the stuff we talk about. But at the same time, we're both from Appalachia. We're both Christian, right? And it's like, I can't hate
Is that guy an
guy.
open Christian? Mm-hmm. No shit. That's surprising. Just based on, I guess you build a phenotype around people. Like the guy, based on a lot of he said, like he was talking about like some of that stuff, he went really far. He's like, we need to excommunicate conservative people out of horror. Like some of that stuff I was like, man, even if I don't agree with you, like I would never say like we need to get left-wing people out of this thing we all enjoy. Like that's a very strange statement to
I
make.
think it's like he was so dead set on proving his point. He kept exaggerating points and stuff. I'm not trying to sit here and say like he should have said what he said or justify the video. It was awful. He slandered a bunch of my friends, stuff like that. Obviously,
we
I
don't
don't
give a
stand for
shit.
that. I know you guys don't care, but it did kind of suck to like watch someone like attack me and then move on to people I like, right? And like, so obviously there was a bunch of, I disagreed with a bunch I didn't like, but I never felt like he was lying, basically. Sure. I felt like it was all coming from him. So I can never really hate him over that.
You were retarded the whole time, Dumbo. It was you didn't need the feather.
Like
It's like, we'll just put all these
every
cartoons.
time Isaiah agrees with you, it's like, thanks, Satan.
It was wild watching that dude like double down, and he put in a lot of time and effort into that video. That means he really, when you didn't upload it pissed him off to a degree I'm amazed by.
It was the ultimate monkey's paw wish, because you could tell like he wasn't doing very well. Like with his YouTube channel, he's like, I just want a video to get a lot of views, and it did.
Like 2 days later.
I like you're just like, don't cut to Isaiah during this entire part chase.
His Discord 2 days later when he's like, you guys think I can come back from this? Discord's like, probably not.
He did the IRL like, Chad, am I cooked?
Anyway, so I don't know. I never hated the guy, right?
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, he reached out to me and he apologized.
That's fucking.
He said he was very sorry. He explained a lot that I don't want to talk about publicly, but he explained a lot about his private life at the time. that had he was going through a lot. It was pretty tense. And he had a bunch of people from my audience who I do not support who were saying some very nasty things about him and stuff, like among the nicer ones, like, oh, Wendigoon wannabe, stuff like that. And he just got down this headspace that he admitted to me was wrong. And in his credit,
before he made the video.
Before he made the video.
Oh, so he was already just like spiraling about.
He was having a lot go wrong in his life, and he was convinced. And again, like, this is why I say, like, legitimacy is like the one thing that kind of matters to me, because I don't know someone else's upbringing. I don't know what kind of media they've been exposed to. I don't know what kind of influxes they've been exposed to. Someone can be left, right, whatever. And I think, honestly, they can both be good people, even if they hate each other. It's just the stimuli they've had to point them against each other for so many years. And that's what's so frustrating to me about politics and news cycles and everything. But if there is a person down there somewhere, then that person can still come out. And with In Praise of Shadows, I saw that person come out. He was very earnest with me, and him had a long talk about our faith, our personal lives and stuff like that. And I really do believe he was in a bad mental space that he has come out of since then. And he recognized he was wrong and was like, I'm sorry. And to his credit, he took down the video, and then he took some time off, and then came back with a public apology on his second channel where he's like, I shouldn't have done that. Now he's just making videos. So,
well, you know what? That's cool.
I hope he does well.
We hope he's doing better.
I mean, that is like
Best case scenario.
That's why I love you.
If
that level of forgiveness.
If it was a guy who was like a grifter, right? If he was just like, whatever makes me money, and he made that takedown video, I'd be like, yeah, get wrecked, whatever, right? But I do think as much as I disagree with it, I think he meant what he said. And to me, that's like the biggest tell of a person, right?
It's the echo chamber that they're surrounded by. And if echo chambers are fucking crazy to watch, because that is your entire perspective. Yeah. And whatever they're feeding you, you will fall into that. And then that you feed off that negative.
Yeah, like sure, people can disagree on points and get like really bent out of shape about it. But at the end of the day, it's like you are both people. There are very few people in this world who are like, I am so right that I want other people to suffer. It is most often, I believe in this thing. I care about these people. I want to see them get better. This is how I think do it. And then, of course, if you think the thing you're doing is what helps people, then the person wanting the opposite is going to be the enemy. But from their fence, it's just a mirror, right? And that's why it's what's so frustrating about it. But yeah, like if anyone's an earnest person, I'll have a conversation with them. And I think he was too.
That's actually something interesting. If I could just mention it for a quick second. Tony Gonzalez after my congressional campaign, because me and him went fucking, especially toward the end, like those last like 2 months, it was
pretty rough.
It was intense.
All hat, no cattle.
The gloves came off and we were duking it out. And that was something
that was like.
I mean, me watching, I felt like you kept the gloves on.
Well, there's some things.
Cody took his gloves off.
Cody took his.
Other devil attacked.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have an IR laser that I'm just like over there. But I kept the gloves on for a lot of my stuff. Most of my stuff was positive or whatever. But $10 to $12 million was spent to slander me in my hometown, or like where I live. Like it was not great.
Yeah. I understand the animosity, yeah. Yeah,
like that's something that even like a lot of my friends, I think, harbor more animosity than I do, and I understand it because like I get the game, but I ever since then, like the next like 2-3 days later, I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but we had lunch, like we had dinner or something, just sat down, like had a couple beers, and talked a bunch of things out. He's come to the shop since, and like we sat down, and like we talked policy, we talked about the race, and a lot of it was just us swapping stories about how hard it is to campaign in the district and like little like shit that only you would know if you ran for Congress in the area. And that was kind of cool to humanize and whatnot. But there was never a point where there was like hatred toward the other person. And I still like, me and him probably, there's a lot we disagree on still to this day. Sure. Like the reasons I ran is because I didn't agree with a lot of his stances. And I wanted that to be voiced. But like we still probably talk at least maybe once a month, which I think is healthy.
You're not sacrificing your principles for his. You're just recognizing another person with principles, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying like, hey, this is my new best friend. I agree with everything he does. It's absolutely not that. But
and at the same time, like it's so cool what you said about like, there's not a lot of people you know who also ran for representative in San Antonio, right? Yeah. Except this guy. So now you have like a common ground over that. You have like this rapport built with each other, even if accidentally. That's really cool.
We'll make jokes about like Loving County, for example, like this county like 5 hours west of here that like has a population of like 54 people, and it's one of the 29 counties in the district. And it's like little shit like that you would never be able to joke about.
No one else would get it.
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's nice to be able to meet people on that, like, I guess that parlay ground.
That's really cool, man. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad.
Aw,
That's very sweet.
that's all I wanted.
I'm proud of you, Dad. No, it was like the same way. Like when I was talking to him, Praise of Shadows privately, it's like, horror movies that have come out. We're both horror YouTubers from Appalachia. It's like there's so much overlap.
I didn't know that's where he's
stuff
from.
He's from Asheville, one of the areas that got hit.
That
really
makes
bad.
a lot of sense.
Well, I messaged him when we were talking about this, asking if he was okay, and he was okay, but like his house, like a lot of houses in the region, lost water and stuff like that. So they got he was right in the middle of the affected area that we were helping out in and stuff like that. But no, it's like we have so much in common. Like, and honestly, you mentioned like not holding grudges and stuff like that.
Forgiveness. I know you probably are huge into that, and I can just see. Again, depending on your friend groups, watching your level of communication and forgiveness for others, we've talked about it last time. It's like the perfect representation of Christianity. Well, that is what I love most about you. Like, my boy's killing it.
I appreciate that. But if God is anything, then he's a God of second chances, right? I mean, that's the whole reason we're here in the first place, right? I mean, take it all the way back to the garden, like Adam and Eve, right? Like, we messed up. It's like we're done. And he said, no, try again. And then that's where all of this came from, right?
Hard mode plus.
Pretty much, yeah. But we have that option to return back.
Adam's like, and you shall have pain during childbirth. He's like, all right.
I have to sweat a bit? Okay. No,
Jesus.
It's yes, actually.
That part comes later.
But like, I think about all the time about like Jesus when he was crucified on the cross, right? Like,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow, I didn't get there yet.
Keep reading like 3 pages. You'll be amazed by what happens next.
You had like,
You've had 2,000 years.
I'm gonna go plant some eggs and hide them. I'll be right back.
Like, you have Jesus, who when he was being executed on the cross, one of the last things he said to God was, "Father, forgive them; they know not what they do." Right. So if that guy, someone who's done no wrong, like the only sinless person to ever exist, if that guy can be spit on, tortured, executed in front of his mother, and ask God to forgive them, then am I going to be mad because a YouTuber said he didn't like me? It's kind of cringe when you think about it.
that's what
that
we
way.
call perspective.
Yeah. So it's like, what am I going to do? Stay mad about it? Like, no. So, yeah.
Beautifully said. Cody's like, Twitter.
Have you
You'll
heard,
do anything for that person.
have you heard the newest Cody Twitter lore?
No, what is it?
Fuck, what'd I do?
Which one?
Walmart.
Oh my God! Overnight, that is, bro. That got trending.
We've been trending on Twitter for the past 19 hours.
What happened? What
Go
did
ahead,
you do?
Cody.
So I texted the group last night.
Yeah, no,
Cody.
Yeah, you text the group, and then Nick wrote out a tweet, and I tweeted it because Walmart has one of our designs where we raised as the autistic shirt.
I saw that tweet. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that went viral. Okay.
Born to math, like full metal jacket.
Yeah, Born in Math. We raised fucking $200,000+ for autistic charities.
It's like 100,
Very nice.
110.
Or was it 110?
Something like that.
It was,
110.
excuse me.
Yeah,
Steel
110.
Valor.
Yeah.
110 something.
Dominic Keller, thank you for that. He's the one that tweeted, he's like, "Hey, Walmart's stealing your shit."
Yeah, so on the Walmart website, like our shirt is on there, and they're making money off of it. And so Nick sent me this very well worded tweet, and I tweeted it, and then we all just retweeted it. And we're trying to get Walmart, to I don't know, give us money for a fucking T-shirt for autistic people.
Yeah, we were just gonna like if you're not gonna give us credit, at least donate money to the autism charities like we did.
We didn't take a penny from that
No,
shirt. Like,
right,
we never
yeah.
took profit from that shirt. Then we get sent from a veteran with the sign. Stories for you, X. Walmart faces allegations over unauthorized T-shirt sales trending now.
Which it's now at like it's like 19,000.
It's been trending all day.
Wow.
Walmart removed it real quick.
No, it's still up.
Oh, it is it?
It's still up.
The annoying part is all the people are like, well, actually, it's a third-party seller. It's not necessarily Walmart itself. And it's like, cool, Walmart's still getting a cut of somebody selling a bootleg t-shirt that was used to raise money for charity. Like, they're still profiting off of it. I don't give a fuck. You shouldn't allow that on your platform.
Out of a Las Vegas P.O. box that's most certainly Chinese.
It's a UPS store.
Yeah.
The P.O. box is literally the UPS store. It's like, why are you guys allowing that on your platform?
Sam Walton is rolling over in his grave.
Yeah, they do. It's same on Amazon too, because I remember one time I was looking, I just searched
that's terrible.
like Wendigoon merch, and it was like there was a bunch on Walmart, there was a bunch on my Amazon and stuff, and so yeah, it's just like it's all foreign stuff that I remember asking management like, is there any way that we could like take this down? He's like, well, what happened is you get into like a complex like legal takedown, and then that one would pop down, and then a week later it'd just be another name and pop up. So it's like,
Do we know anybody in China with like, I don't know, an oily rag that we could just toss into a certain textile factory?
What? I didn't even think about that, Brandon.
There's a lot of solutions.
That's why you're the real shaker and mover.
Hey,
Definitely the devil side of it. I was like, that is the devil side. This is the one that's like, you ever try firebombing somebody?
Completely unrelated to why Walmart should donate to charity.
We're going to get a new drink out of this. The Chinese moped bomb.
Chinese moped bomb.
We'll get that.
Irish car bomb is an insane name for a drink.
Joe, how do you feel about that?
Love it.
Oh my God, I heard that was like something that you just do not order in Ireland.
Not really, no. It's like a predominantly American thing.
Yeah, like it's kind of like offensive. It's almost like going into a fucking bar in Boston, like, hey, can I have a 9/11?
Exactly, yeah. Like,
Show.
9/11, please.
9/11 famous Boston terror attack.
I was just saying what random fucking city in America. It wasn't. Whatever.
I'll never forget those towers flying over the Boston Harbor.
Did you just confuse 9/11 and a marathon?
No, I was thinking a random big city in America. Fuck you guys, man.
I can't believe that. I should make it.
Today we're going to talk about...
No. What?
Can't believe they put a pressure cooker in that tower.
That was the first one. It didn't.
That was. I forgot about that. Yeah.
The much lesser known prequel.
I remember in like the 1999 Godzilla movie, there's a scene where like Godzilla goes through the city and the cameraman in the helicopter is like, this is the worst attack on New York since the World Trade Center bombing. And it's like...
That's on Godzilla.
Yeah, in the 1999 Godzilla movie, because it was like right before the towers were hit.
that.
So they're talking about the 95 bombing. He's like, this is the worst attack on New York since the World Trade Center bombing. It's like...
It's funny how many people don't know that happened.
Did you see that on
And
Twitter?
no, like, well, they'll call it like, oh, look at this movie from 2000, like fucking a year and a half beforehand.
And they're talking about being attacked, yeah.
It's like, you know, that's not the first time.
Well, that was like when I first blew up on Twitter, that was like
Poor phrasing, but okay.
I was like, good word choice.
Sorry. Yeah, whatever. No, there was like a bunch of people who were like, how did Biggie know that 9/11 was going to happen when he said blow up like the World Trade in a song that came out years beforehand? It was like, it's not the first one.
There's actually a bunch of failed attempts, if I remember right.
Yeah. Like
people trying to get bombs in. And so that was the only one that went off, to my knowledge, the 95 one. And then they were like, all right, well, we won't try to get bombs in. We'll bring...
next time.
These crazy groups of people.
BYOB.
Jesus Christ. That's
BYOP.
He's still a really good shirt.
No. I don't think
BYOB?
anything could be more sacrilegious in that context, more insensitive than the fucking moment of silence you guys had on CreepCast.
Oh, yeah, where Hunter just started singing Amazing Grace and it's like furry 9/11 art goes up on screen. Yeah. I had nothing to do with that. I just stood there and did this. I didn't.
Chase, pull that up.
No.
I was watching it. I
don't even know about this.
Oh, I was watching it and I pulled it up. I'm like, oh my God.
We were just... Hunter accidentally read... Because Hunter has dyslexia or something.
They have a table of veterans like...
Oh, shut up. Okay. Yeah, everyone up on their high horse while I'm on the ground. Okay.
I'm on the ground with you.
Yeah, shut up.
That's two hands to win.
Before
Sorry. Mr. Purple Heart.
Before we say that, you fucking you text me for Veterans Day.
I did. I said, do you have the text?
I think I do. I just get a random text from Isaiah, like "Happy Veterans Day, hero," with a fucking GIF.
It's like a bunch of like shadows of troops and American flags.
Just leave me alone. Can't you see I'm busy getting my free Applebee's Dollarita? As any hero should.
I think you text me, I'm so proud of my dad today.
Yeah. I replied to one tweet I remember you did one time. It's like, not only is he a hardworking father, but he's a serviceman who loves his country or whatever.
Jesus.
I'm glad people are actually gaslit into it now. It worked. So I'm happy with that.
As Clint Romoshay runs into the house and throws his Medal of Honor at Brandon.
Did you hear about that?
No.
No, I did not hear. I know someone gave you a Purple Heart. I saw that.
No, we had Clint Romoshay, who's like a legit Medal of Honor recipient.
Oh.
And the first thing he does when he walks in is just goes, takes it out of his pocket all balled up and chucks it at my chest from like 2 feet away. I'm like, ah!
It starts burning.
I grab it. He's like, damn, I was hoping you were going to drop it. I wanted to make you feel bad.
Someone made him a gauntlet with
Oh,
the
the
medal.
stolen valor.
It's all the medals.
Oh my gosh.
But
That
sorry,
is great.
the 9/11 thing.
The unsubscribe. Yeah, the 9/11 thing, something that you surely know about. Yeah, we were in an episode and Hunter accidentally read 911 as 9/11, and then like he immediately
called 9/11
with like no stoppage, just goes amazing great, and he does the whole song. So, and I just stood there like this during it because I didn't know what else to do. And then in the post edit, our editor just did like a slow fade montage of like My Little Pony 9/11 art. So it's like the towers
Like
burning,
Sonic furry shit.
and like Sonic and like the other furries like saluting, or like a fireman My Little Pony crying, and it's like never forget.
I love how they want to take out your banter, but they leave in
That's
the
what they
2-minute
add.
9/11.
That's what they add. Yeah. Well, there's two editors. One of them, she's been my friend since high school, and she's constantly like, we have to cut this. She's the one who I fought to like leave in the eat me like a bug thing.
Thank God you did, because that
Yeah.
was hysterical.
I threatened to fire her. I was like, you have to leave
eat
it.
me like a bug.
You eat me like a bug. I've been saying that to myself since then. And then there's another editor named Nate who's bad because he like feeds into it. He's the one who did the My Little Pony 9/11 art and stuff like that. So there were two different, two sides of the same coin. The
Nate
angel
is-
and devil again.
Nate is objectively funnier. I would never let him watch my dogs.
That's my take on them as well. I think. Yeah. I know.
That's safe.
But yeah, that's the 9/11 My Little Pony stuff.
Fuck do we go from there?
So I saw semi recently that you've also become obsessed with cheese caves along with myself.
Yes, absolutely. Man, that's such a weird. I love finding stuff like that. Like it's so weird.
so
Oh, we're doing
fucking
government
stupid.
cheese now?
Yeah.
There
You
is
did a
two.
cheese video too.
I want government cheese, and then I want sovereign citizens, because then it's like,
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Right, yeah, the
connection.
sovereign citizen video. Yeah. Yeah. So the cheese video to start. When did you make your cheese video?
It was a while. It was over a year or two ago, maybe.
I try not to, like when I'm about to research a topic, I try to not listen to other YouTubers about
Yeah.
it because I'm afraid it's gonna influence.
Yeah, it rubs
like,
off
the way
on
I
you too much.
it'll
Yeah, I
rub
do the
off
same
on-
thing.
Yeah.
I look up the topic and be like, if anybody's done it within the last 6 months, I'm just going to wait to do mine.
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah. I do that too sometimes, where it's like I should wait, I should
Yeah.
lean off. But no, the government cheese tunnel stuff's so weird. Like it's just there, and it's like that's pretty much how anything goes with bureaucracy, where it's like one decision got made 40 years ago.
Now
and
we've
it's
got
like,
a mountain of cheese.
Now it's like, well, we can't stop because we already have all the cheese. What are we gonna do? Stop having all the cheese?
I'm not going to be the one left holding the mountain of cheese.
I'm really stupid with
That
this.
is the next guy's problem, and then it'll be all the story like so and so wasted millions of dollars on cheese, and it's
Things
gonna
have
be
been
his
set
problem.
into motion that cannot be undone.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like
Sign here. It's your cheese now.
yeah. It's literally like Jimmy Carter started the cheese cascade, and I'm too scared to let it go. It's too much cheese to touch right now. Yeah. So
How many poundages did you get?
2 billion pounds, I think.
1.4 billion, I think, pounds of cheese.
1.4, 1.7, something like that.
Currently in in a like storage across
In a
the
cave?
US. Most of it is in Kansas City, in a cave.
It literally looks like the fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark warehouse, but it's just fucking cheese.
Just cheese.
Maybe you break in there, a wheel of cheese comes down on you.
Swapping cheese.
With anything else, it's like it came from an inkling of like, well, I see what the idea was, because it was during the energy crisis when like farms were about to go bankrupt. So the government started bankrolling farmers and saying, look, because no farms were willing to produce dairy because their fear was, well, if we produce dairy, like the economy's about to go into a financial collapse, no one's going to buy it, and I'm going to go bankrupt. So the government said, look, whatever amount of dairy you produce, we'll buy the excess, essentially, to keep farm. And you hear that, and someone's like, well, that's kind of a cool idea.
The farmer bailout, too pig to fail.
But then, yes, every farmer in the country did the math.
I have a guaranteed customer.
Yeah, it's like, you mean any of it will get? So everyone's taking out loans to grow their dairy production and like try to sell as much as possible. So then the government gets hit with like 10 times the amount of cheese they thought they'd be buying in excess. And it's like, okay, well, if we're buying all of it, we can't just throw it away because that'd be wasteful. So I guess we have these old munition storage from World War II. So I guess we'll start loading cheese in there. And then that just kept
I think
going.
it was just milk at first, but they said that they could make it into cheese to store it.
It was milk. And then it was like, well, milk spoils, but
Yeah.
cheese stores easier. So we'll make it into cheese. And then we're just going to store all of that. And then it's gotten to the point where there's 2 billion pounds, and they're like, "Oh no!"
The best part is when Reagan gets into office and gets briefed on this issue, and he, like, by the time Reagan got in, they were spending millions of dollars a day just in electricity for refrigeration. And he has some poor fucking intern go into the White House press box and is like, with a moldy half wheel of cheese, literally a moldy fucking wheel of cheese. It's like 40 years old, and he's like, we've got 700 million pounds of this. How you guys feeling about us just throwing it in the ocean? And they're like, no. And that's when the whole government cheese thing started. So they just started donating it to like food shelters
food programs
and
and stuff like that. And it's like, again, you can see where like the thought process went, because it's like, we have to support farmers. And then it's like, well, what do we do with it? And then people are going to be upset if you just waste it, right? You throw away food when they're starving people. So it's like, okay, we'll put it in government programs. It still doesn't even put a dent in the amount, because it's gotten to the point, at least in like the 80s, they quit it now, but it got to the point in the 80s and 90s where it's like, if we stop buying it, half the farms in the country are going to go under.
You showed your work and still got the wrong answer.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like, you know, what do we do? So the conspiracy, and that's what like I focused on in my video, was that, did you touch on the conspiracy?
I don't think I did, no.
The conspiracy is that the Got Milk campaign and then the sudden
I did that,
90s and early 2000s stuff about like milk's good for your bones, you should eat dairy, stuff like that, was just propaganda for the government to try to offload their dairy supply.
That's just propaganda from Big Titty.
Yeah.
Thank
you, devil.
the way I did it in my video, because I love retelling, and I was like, so how the fuck did they get rid of all this milk in the 90s? Well, what happened in the 1990s that convinced a bunch of people to drink milk? And there's always this light bulb that goes off like, wait a minute, it's really weird. The Got Milk ad campaign wasn't associated with a particular brand of milk.
Yeah.
No,
it was just a faceless. It was. I remember.
Oh my God.
It went through like.
It was just Got Milk.
It's just Got Milk.
There's
It's
no
never a
brand.
brand.
And we all remember it.
It was subsidized.
Also, side note, milk is not the best way to.
No, I mean, like it's
count-
it's fine, but it's not like a miracle drink like it
Way
was made
better
out
way.
to be.
Also, maybe like a little bit of a coincidence that this was about the time that MK Ultra had shut down, but we learned a lot of like lessons.
You're right, buddy. We sure did.
Oh, maybe
When we remember
if we tell school children their arms will fall off their torsos if they don't drink milk, they'll drink fucking milk. Yeah, brilliant.
They'll drink bones and die.
Literally, that's all I
The
remember.
posters in every single, like all of our schools, there were posters just Got Milk, Got
And
Milk.
it was
got
always
milk, got
celebrities
milk.
with like the milk mustache.
You had like
and stuff.
Shaq doing
Yeah.
it. You had fucking MJ doing
Taylor
it.
Swift did it. All the
Pamela
all of
Anderson.
them. And then like
Taylor Swift in the 90s.
That was coming.
that or 2000s, whatever it ran. There was like, so it was subsidized by a company called National Dairy or something like that. Which
DMI, Dairy Management Incorporated.
That's it, DMI.
Which was a government checkoff program that was an offshoot of the USDA. And the funniest part is the USDA has spent hundreds of millions of dollars researching how unhealthy milk is. Meanwhile, they have a sub company underneath them, DMI, whose entire purpose is to extort money from dairy farmers against their will and use it to advertise to convince everybody that dairy's good. So you have the same government agency taking your tax dollars and competing them against each other to compete on whether or not dairy is good or bad for you.
That is the most government shit I've ever
The real conspiratorial part, because that's pretty much, that's not even a conspiracy, that's just like a thing that happens. The real conspiratorial part is when you look at like in the 90s and 2000s, every single fast food restaurant started to participate in these like government programs. Like there was DMI for dairy, but then there's one for pork, there's one for meat, stuff like that, who had their own stories. But all of them start getting bankrolled like partially through DMI and stuff like that, because DMI is paying to advertise dairy to businesses. So every fast food restaurant in the country starts putting cheese on burgers, sandwiches, stuff like that. Pizzas go from a little bit of cheese to like the extra 4-layer triple cheese and stuff. And then like in like the 2010 recession and stuff, or 2008 recession, you have like Domino's that went under and then quietly got bailed out by the government, and like no one addressed it.
Tens of millions of dollars loaned to them, and then all of their cheese covered for years. This is
and they rebranded.
I linked it to like, is this why every time I call Domino's drunk at 3 a.m. and I try to order a large pizza, the guy's like, I can sell you a large pizza for $29, or I can give you like fucking 13 medium pizzas for $6.
Yeah,
they're just trying to get rid of more cheese.
They're trying to get rid of the cheese. Yeah. So the idea is that like a lot of our commerce, a lot of our restaurants, like food chains and stuff like that, are dictated by a need to get rid of cheese that came off of goodwill, but nevertheless like an improper decision made back in the 70s. That's the story.
It's all about cheese, boys.
All about cheese.
It's all about cheese. Cheese conspiracy. There's a shirt.
Conspiracy.
That's pretty much everything the government's ever touched.
Yeah.
It goes about that well.
It's always like, we have a good idea, and then 50 years later, it's like, well, we can't stop the idea.
Yes, it was the road to heaven paved with good intentions. I remember.
That's the saying. Yeah,
paved with
that's how that
cheese.
goes. I think it's the road to Afghanistan's paved with good intentions, actually. Oh, sorry.
No, it was. It was paved with the national oil prices.
Yeah. And then sovereign citizens.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, Cody loves sovereign citizens. One of his favorite topics.
They're so fun.
All right,
They're
so
so much fun.
I'm not trying to toot my own dick here, but I think I am
Brandon's job.
single-handedly responsible for bringing the sovereign citizen thing into YouTube.
When did you start? Like, when did you start talking about it?
Like 2016.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it kick up till like 2020. So you would have been one of the.
Yeah, because when I was a cop, I ran into one sovereign citizen. He's like, I can drive around, I can do whatever I want. I don't need a license. We're like, dude, you can't
What was
do
his
that.
name?
I'm not saying names.
Was it?
What?
You're not going to talk about the guy?
We'll see.
Which guy?
We'll see.
It's gonna give it to you.
Oh God, Earl. No, I just say Earl's like a sovereign citizen because he thought he didn't have to have a driver's license. There was another guy, this white dude.
Literally, like you arrested, but you arrested DMX. Like,
Cody pulled over DMX a lot.
Everyone in my police department pulled over Earl a lot. And he's just
First
like,
name basis.
Hi,
yeah. Hey Earl, what's up, man? But there was this white dude that we would pull over to, and he was another one of those guys. And it's like, he would say, people are walking through my yard. Can I put up punji pits? And we're like, dude, no. And so I started to realize, like, people who are actual hardcore sovereign citizens, they like really believe in like the anti-government things, which is how I'm like now. But we used to pull them over all the time. And then, when I started my YouTube channel, I started seeing the videos of how fucking, like, I don't want to say crazy, but just how out of touch they are. It's like,
crazy is a fitting word.
Okay. That's a good one. And I started making sovereign citizen videos, and that's what launched my channel from like, I had 10,000 subscribers and it went to like 300,000 in a couple months.
you did a sovereign citizen bingo.
Yeah, I used to do sovereign citizen bingo. And so people could pick the things they're going to say. Black's Law Dictionary, like I'm just traveling, things like that.
traveling's the big one.
Maritime law.
Maritime law.
Yeah.
Admiralty
Boat
law.
captains, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
US is a
just road
corporation.
pirates. It's like-
Road pirates. Road pirates is like a really cool word.
awesome.
That's an awesome term.
Didn't somebody give us a patch on the live show that was like Road Pirate something?
Yeah. I sold shirts that said road pirates for a while. And yeah, I started doing that in 2016. That's one of the big things that like got my channel big, was talking about sovereign citizens.
I had like a level of like, okay, maybe like sure they're annoying, but maybe they actually think that there's some legal loophole they're getting through and stuff. Kind of like when guys are like, don't talk to the cops, when they're like, just I was in fear for my life, I want a lawyer. Like that whole thing. I'm like, maybe the sovereign citizens are like down that track. But then when I actually like looked into their like what they think is going on, it's like, oh, this is insane. This is like it is next door to the QAnon. Like Donald Trump is going to like execute everyone in office right now. It's like
Donald Trump is underground in a firefight under the Capitol currently. Like shit like that.
That is the exact same, because the whole idea with the sovereign citizen is like the United States government secretly at some point became not a government and is now a corporation. Yep. But because they're a corporation, even though
1913 with the development of the Federal Reserve.
Have you do you know their whole lore of what they think happened?
Not the whole corporation.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
I'm learning a lot.
Do you know it as
I'm
well?
familiar. I haven't.
Okay.
Like I'm not brushed up on it.
I just thought it was funny seeing their windows get busted out and then being pulled out.
Okay.
Like,
Cody, simple man.
So this what leads to that is generally, and not like no two sovereign citizens believe the same thing, because it's really just like a belief that is incorporated into other groups, other ideas, stuff like that. Like you do see a lot of it in like QAnon groups. You see a lot of it in like nationalist groups, stuff like that.
What's funny to me in your video specifically, not to cut you off, is that it's very racist in origin from both sides.
Yeah, so it's
like a bunch of anti-white and anti-black racists like shaking hands on fucking, we don't have to follow the law.
Can't we all just come together?
Yeah, it started as like an exclusively like white nationalist idea, and then years later, as more people started to pick it up, really around like the 90s, 2000s, it became like black nationalists started to get it sometimes. So it's really weird. But the core root of it was that the United States at some point quit being a country. Now, when that is debated. Some say it was during the Civil War. Some say it was when we left the gold standard. Some say it's when Washington, D.C. was created. At some point, we quit being
Right after
a
World
country.
War II.
Right after World War II is another popular one.
Really?
And instead,
What happened then?
that we had a war debt to pay, and we needed someone to pay it. So so the idea is we dissolved the nation as a government and instead became a corporation that is an extension of another country. Most often it's Great Britain. Sometimes it's Israel, of course. Sometimes it's like Germany or France.
And
or
now
something
there's
like that.
now your social security number is actually a checking number, and if you know how to fill out the right paperwork, you have millions of dollars that you can just access magically.
So the idea is,
Of course that would stay a secret.
at whatever point all this happened, the United States became bankrupt, and we needed money somehow. So because we were out of money, we began somehow leveraging the potential work power or capital, whatever, of prospective people when they're born to other countries.
Amazing. They think all of us are worth millions of dollars.
It's very, it's kind of uplifting a little bit when you think about it that way.
So optimistic.
That we're worth that much money. So they start getting like loans from other countries based on our value. So tied to every person in the United States, there is a secret fund of money that is their value. Another nation is contributing to the United States corporation on behalf of them.
This is why FDR started Social Security.
This is what
like what it
Social
all ties
Security
into,
is.
yeah.
This is where Social Security numbers come from. This is where things like what's
This hooks people.
There's other examples of it, of like, when you get a birth certificate, your parents signing your birth certificate is them like willingly signing you over to the United States corporation.
Yeah, we're just getting really deep into this.
Yeah. It's like there's so many layers to it. So that's the whole idea.
I will say I believe in 0% of it because obviously it's fucking retarded. But there are a few things that are weird about it. Just like Social Security, like in the law specifically stating like this is not allowed to be an identification number of any kind. And now everything you do now
is
you're
Social
identified by
Security.
your
Yeah,
Social
it's always
Security.
the social, because there's no other like ease they have of it. There's no other number that's tagged to people as easily as it is. And
Maybe I am a sovereign citizen.
That's the thing. They will pull stuff out of context all the time. They'll pull stuff from the Magna Carta. They'll pull stuff from the Articles of Confederation. Be like, actually, in this source it says that.
Neither of which we're governed by.
But because the United States doesn't exist anymore, we're not governed by anything. So you basically pick which one you want to be governed by. And that's what you're governed. Yes, very convenient.
I get to pick my own rules.
But then it gets into like, okay, so the idea is the United States is just a corporation, right?
hold on.
Specifically of Great Britain.
Choose your own adventure.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
I want this one.
There are black nationalists that want to not accept the 13th Amendment.
Wait, we'll get there.
Okay.
That does come in.
I was going to say that's fucking
No.
wild.
That does come in. Hold
Okay.
on. So the idea is that because we are no longer a country and we're like extension of Great Britain, just a company, right? We don't actually adhere to any real legal system. We are under maritime law, commercial law, or admiralty law because the United States is effectively a trade route for Great Britain.
You getting
right?
flashbacks?
So that is why they don't have to abide by the laws, because it's not the laws of any government, it's the laws of a corporation, right? And the ways that they choose to opt out of these things can be that if you send in a check with your social security number, the government is required to pull it from your secret fund that they don't tell you about, but you can still access. You can file paperwork with your local clerk to get you removed. There's the idea that you have something called a straw man, which is the difference between you, yourself, and your legal name, all caps. Because on your birth certificate and
I forgot about the
identification,
all caps
your
thing.
name's in all caps, right? So there's two Codys. There's Cody all caps and you Cody. If you can file paperwork to separate yourself from all caps Cody, you get all of all caps Cody's secret government money. And because of that, they will never identify themselves as their name. It is never John Smith. It is I am : John parentheses son of parentheses Smith. Like, because if you use your name John Smith, well, that is you willingly giving into the government's exploitation of you as a product.
Cody is fighting muscle memory to not drag you out of your fucking chair right now.
You just hear a bang and he's like, he was resisting.
It reminds me of like the demonology shit. It's like the power of the name kind of.
Yes,
Like,
and it's weird too because they think that like because it's a corporation, the corporation only has power if you play its game, right? So if instead if an officer says
pulls you out of car.
if an officer says, "Do you understand?" Never respond with "I understand," because that says I am under the standing of the officer. So instead say, "I comprehend."
It's the knees you have to worry
something
about.
like that.
The the craziest part about all this is
We had from the audience.
thinking that every cop in America knows all of this
Yes,
and is just
they're
keeping it
just
a
like,
secret.
every cop in the United States is like, I am a British like agent, and I can't tell anyone, not even my family. Like,
Jesus Christ. The majority of policing comes down to people just being retards, right? There's like almost 1 million police officers in the United States. And it's wild that, like, I understand what you're saying, but it's like the cop out there on the road isn't going through these fucking
is not
mental
thinking of it. Yes,
gymnastics,
exactly,
like going
yeah.
through this. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, dude, I just want to make sure you're safe on the road so you don't wreck into a family of 4.
he is not ready.
That's it. Yeah, that is fucking it.
Imagine
Hey,
the
you were
person-
speeding. What?
Yeah, he has never heard the word maritime in his life. He is not prepared for the argument he's about to get into.
Imagine the kind of person.
Tell me we're in a landlocked state. What are you talking about?
We live in Indiana. Imagine the kind of person that has to have a weekly interaction with the cops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing with these
Wherever
guys.
Connor lives, probably.
You never hear these guys like just talking about their thing. It is always in court or traffic stops because all of them are on their 3rd DUI or they're like they owe money to the state. They're not paying back and can't pay it back. So most of the time, like if you watch a series of court appearances, it'll be like 2 normal appearances, and then the third one's like, I, John, am CXY, son of Smith, hereby comprehend what you're saying and use my maritime ability. And the judge is like, here we go. Like, it's starting. They got another one.
I found the cheat
Look,
code.
man, stop getting shithoused and driving your car. That's
Yeah,
all we
literally,
want.
yeah,
That's all
stop
we fucking
drinking and
wanted.
driving,
That's
yeah.
it. That's fucking it.
Meanwhile, the defendant, up, down, left, right, left, right.
Dude, the number of like weird codes they have is wild. Okay, so for example, like like the bar, the thing that lawyers in the United States
course.
go up against. They say that some say that the bar stands for British something registry. British accreditation registry or something like that. So that is a secret code that for some reason is public, that all lawyers are just extensions of Great Britain. In courtrooms where the American flag has the gold fringes around it, gold fringes are seen on the naval crest, indicating that United States courtrooms, American flags, are just a piece of the Navy of Great Britain. And yeah, it just goes on and on. There's stuff like
connecting dots.
There's stuff that like
and reaching at
if
this
you
point.
sign like a piece of paper in red ink, that is a subtle reminder to the government, because red ink is used to close business transactions, that you do not support them and that you are instead signing to excommunicate yourself from them.
And the government's going to care.
And the government's going to care. That's the craziest thing about it. It's not just the government's evil and hates me. It's the government's evil and hates me, but if I can say the right words the right way, they'll give me $20 million. It's like, what? Like the levels of delusion.
Do
you
they
have to
know
reach
somebody
for.
that is?
No. Okay, that's the thing.
That's
the
like
thing.
someone they're like, well, my cousin got it.
No, this always comes from people who have had they've had a guru talk to them. So there's these gurus of the movement who, of course, sell self-help books and sell info online, and it's always marketed to people who need help. It's like, hey, you can't afford, your court case or whatever. Well, you're actually entitled to blah blah blah, and then desperate people like try to say the words, but they don't understand what they're saying, and it always that's the reason it always comes off as like funny in courtrooms and stuff, because they're just saying words that they have no idea how they connect, where they go, stuff like that.
But they're like, I heard a guy on YouTube say that. Yeah.
There's one video I saw, which you may have seen it. This guy gets pulled over by a cop, and he's like talking to the cop out the window, and he's doing the whole like, I comprehend, I wasn't driving, I was traveling or whatever. And the cop actually knew what he was talking about. So the cop's like, can you step out of the vehicle for a minute? And like the guy gets out and he's like, look, I'm aware of the whole sovereign citizen thing. It's not real. It's a false thing that's sold. I don't know what you've heard, but it's not real. And then the guy just goes quiet and he goes, I'm sorry, man. I just read all of this online. I didn't know. He's like, it's okay. You want to try this again? He goes, yeah. And it's just a normal reaction.
That is like hilarious.
That's a good cop.
He saved one.
That's the good ending.
Yeah. Because normally where it ends is like you said, like, and out of the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's always guys who have like a DUI who's like, I don't need a license. Oh, that's another thing. They're not driving, they're traveling, because according to them, driving is an occupation. You only need a driver's license if you are transporting people, like a bus driver, or if you're transporting goods, like a truck driver. Otherwise, because in one early United States document, there's an article somewhere that says in the United States you have the freedom to travel as you would. So they're like, well, freedom of travel, and I'm not driving, I'm traveling. So that's where like that comes from.
Meanwhile, the cop is just like, all right.
Oh, the thing you're asking about, like the black nationalists and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I was wondering, because it's like, if you understand a lot of those founding documents from like the 1600s aren't very friendly.
So here's what you got to think, right? If the United States became a corporation during the Civil War, then what did the 14th Amendment actually do?
Or the 13th?
The 13th is one that outlawed slavery.
Oh, the 14th, the citizenship.
The citizenship.
Yeah, okay.
So if it's a corporation now, then the 14th Amendment is binding everyone who exists to that corporation. So the 14th Amendment's a bad thing.
Extra slavery.
So in some sovereign citizen circles, the idea is there are two kinds of citizens. There's a lowercase c, because they're big about cases and stuff, lowercase c citizen that is just a human walking the earth. Then there's an uppercase capital C citizen that is a 14th Amendment citizen, in other words, property of the United States government. So they reject it because they don't.
Slur.
You
A
would
14th
think,
Amendment citizen sounds terrible.
so where like the black nationalist stuff comes in is because there was a group created in the 1930s in the U.S. called the Moorish Science Temple, which was an extension of, it was like a early prelude to the Nation of Islam. Right. So you had people in the Moorish Science Temple who started to get these anti-government ideas, and then they started to pick up the sovereign citizen idea of like secret cheat codes and stuff. There was a document that was made, if I remember right, in 1786 called the Moroccan Friendship Treaty that was signed between John Adams and Morocco.
So I think you did a video on
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
About the U.S. Navy being founded to fight pirates.
Yes.
The U.S. America's first peace treaty. Actually, it's still.
It is the
recognized
longest
today,
existing treaty in the United States. We had 1786, and we've never had a war with Morocco, so we're still friends with them through all that, right?
As it turns out, it hasn't come up again.
So it turns out they haven't tried to find out. But the more science temple, one of their beliefs is that all black people in the United States are actually descendants from an ancient forgotten group of Moroccan people. So therefore, the Moroccan Friendship Treaty says the United States has good standing with Moroccan citizens, which applies to them. So therefore, they don't have to abide by any laws in the United States. So a lot of them will say, like, we don't have to abide by laws because of the Moroccan Friendship
Basically,
Treaty.
diplomatic
of 1786.
immunity for everything.
Yeah, diplomatic immunity for everything. Yeah.
So, oh, well, in that case, do what you want all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wait, can I smash their windshields too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Cody.
Thank Christ.
Does it ever work? Like, that's it. You
No.
never see
So
a single
here-
bit. That's what my favorite thing is.
This
like,
is where it
never
works.
works.
This is where it works. It works when someone gets brought in on a traffic ticket or a DUI or something like that. And because their favorite thing to do is paperwork. They absolutely love, like if someone has a problem with them, they'll take out liens on their house. Because all these gurus also talk about how you can manipulate like government channels to get money or like seize money from other people, file false tax documents against other people and stuff. So someone gets pulled over by a cop. And then they go to court for it, and then the court and the police department and the cop get hammered with paperwork after paperwork after, because they always want to represent themselves, so they always get like stacks on top of stacks of like evidence request and stuff like that, and it becomes so much of a headache that the county drops the case.
Because you called it paper terrorism.
Paper terrorism, yeah. That's the term for it. So they will get to such a
Which
degree.
is a paper airplane. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's too easy.
Thrown by George Bush.
You were doing so good. You had like 3 minutes straight, like serious.
I was learning.
I was proud of you for a second. But yeah, it's
Why
just,
is that why you made me drive 3 blocks down the street to pick you up from school?
Thank you, Dad. You have like the Moroccan Friendship, or not the Moroccan Friendship. You have like these people trying to like do these like tax liens against other people. So it works because there'll be so much of a headache they'll get off of it. So those stories get circulated a lot. So people will like start to say them over and over. But then you have cases where like it's not just like a DUI or something like that. 1995, Terry Nichols, one of the guys who committed the Oklahoma City bombing, he was a sovereign citizen. That dude who drove an SUV through the parade in Wisconsin, I think it was Wisconsin, a couple of years back. Do you remember that? The
Christmas parade.
Yeah, killed 6 people, I think. 8 people, something like that. He was a sovereign citizen. That guy also had a long history of mental illness and stuff that led up to it. But the whole time in court, he was doing, the whole time in court, he was doing the whole sovereign citizen thing of being like, I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen. I am, I was not driving, I was traveling, like the whole nine.
Yeah. And he had a long history of mental illness.
Yeah.
Weird. Nobody harasses the car dealership.
What?
Guns.
Guns.
Oh, I see. What? Okay, I see.
God damn.
Thank you.
You're catching all the jokes tonight.
Yeah.
You're getting all of them.
I'm so okay. I got off the plane and drove here. I haven't had time to put my shell on to attach my guard. I'm a victim right now. So yeah. That's like the sovereign citizen thing. Those people are insane. It's weird.
That's fucking wild.
So I can still smash the windows.
You can smash the windows.
Okay,
Cody.
hell yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're on a roll, boys.
Cody's like, condense that next time. There's a lot of time.
You haven't been a cop for how long?
Smash.
10 years.
Smash windows.
Smash.
You still have the badge where you're like, oh, it says here I can smash your fucking window.
Sir, you drove over a child. But I'm traveling. You can't travel over children.
Cody's playing
You can't do that either.
I have a right to freely travel.
It's funny whenever a judge knows what they're doing, because like a lot of the time what happens is like you watch footage of it and the judge will be like, sir, I'm sorry, I don't understand. But if a judge like gets what's happening, I saw this one video of a judge. It was someone from court like Zoom calling in about like their parole or whatever. And the person who they were talking to is like, I am not, they'll always say, I'm not Isaiah. I am the representative of the estate of Isaiah. or like the spokesperson on behalf of Isaiah. And so the person goes up to the judge and is like, I am the representative spokesperson on behalf of John Smith. And
Is
the judge-
Isaiah in the room with us now?
Yeah,
Like,
he was
what
like,
the
and
fuck?
it's like, as John Smith said before, he's like, no, sir, John Smith is a free living person. I am his representative acting on behalf of the state. And he's like, all right, well, you're held without, no, he goes, all right, so John Smith is held without parole, both his, and he's writing it down, both his spokesperson, his estate, his head of estate, himself. And he was like, sir, I'm not John Smith. He says, well, if you see him, tell him he's in jail. So, it's funny when they know what's happening, and I think as info goes down, people get more like aware of it. But it is very annoying, but it's also very funny at the same time how insane the reasoning gets. Yeah,
Fucking
Good.
wild.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's our big day. You guys are putting on the range day.
Oh yeah, well we could say that now. Now
Yeah.
that
We'll be out by then.
It'll be
trying
done
to
by
keep
then.
the OPSEC pretty clear on that one, but a lot of people.
location 2, 3, 4, 8. Yeah.
No, you'd be surprised the amount of vendors that are like it's like an invite only like
Oh,
private
I thought
range
you
day.
meant like vendors. Vendors is a strong word for it, but
the the amount of like seriously like vendors, anybody who are just like can't wait to be at the range day tomorrow. It's like
I see.
Fuck it.
like, it's very public what that is now.
No.
I thought you were just talking about
Take
crazy
that
people
down.
with guns. My bad.
So many. Take that down.
Us.
So many. What
there
firearms
was
are
a
actually
couple.
looking forward to? We have a bunch. Anyone that doesn't know this, the Range Day is a whole bunch of content creators coming out. Cody branded demo. They put on an amazing show, and then everyone gets to shoot a bunch of firearms. And we usually shoot one.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, I think I shot one gun last year.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah.
It's just it's networking. Like everybody's hanging out and whatnot. The guns are just what brings everybody together. Just kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm mostly like I shoot a lot and stuff like that. I train and do all that funsy, so I'm more so excited to see friends, hang out and stuff like that. But I'm also like I'll shoot a transferable. I like shooting transferables and whatnot.
It's fun because you always gravitate toward the autistic guns, where I'm like,
Yeah,
nice.
you know what I am.
We're just always trying to push the Second Amendment, and like we get a lot of comedians and celebrities and stuff down there who they say we never shot a gun before. It's like, well, would you like to see how professionals handle firearms and how fun it is? And it turns out to be such a good time.
Everybody's being super safe. We've got a ton of RSOs, like a ton of like industry people that just know what they're doing. And it's cool to bring in people, not only in the gun industry, like all the gun guys who like do shit like this all the time, but also people that are influencers, celebrities, whatever, from outside of the Second Amendment space, and bring them in and show them like, hey, you can make a living doing this. Like this is something we do this and we do the same job and we're just fine. Because a lot of these people are afraid to even say gun on their channel or publicly. We're like, hey, you can do this. Like it's totally fine. And on top of that, like, hey, this is all of us hanging out around a ton of machine guns, a ton of like shit that you've never even seen before. And everybody's safe and everybody has a good time. And I think that's a really cool message to bring to people too.
Beautifully said. What are you looking forward to tomorrow?
I love the grease gun. Something about the fire rate of it is so satisfying. So I want to shoot that stuff. I really want to shoot the 8.6. Yeah,
They'll have that.
Fired it before. That'll be fun.
We know a guy.
Kevin right there.
I mean, what is this? Like,
Gay.
it's well. Now I feel weird talking about it.
He loves
Yeah,
it.
it's a very impressive. Thanks. It's a very impressive round.
Kevin.
No, it's a very impressive round from what I've heard about. I want to see it in person as like a nerd for like the ballistics of it and all that stuff. It's like I want to see the hype, right?
Yeah.
I remember when 300 Blackout came out. I was like, all right, who has one? I need to see this firsthand, right?
That was also
Kevin, who created that? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
I'm not looking. It doesn't count. This is aggrandizing now. I hate it. It's terrible. No.
Weird comparison choice.
But yeah, just that, and of course, full autos because I'm a child.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Yeah.
We're gonna have the Warthog out there tomorrow too.
Oh, sick. Nice.
We're bringing back the Pintle Mountain. Yeah, we had to make sure that we locked it to where like there's no capability of anybody to flag the range just for safety reasons. A lot of people who never shot machine guns before were like, all right, lock the traverse in every direction. Like you can shoot berm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's probably good. I mean, like everyone I've seen safe, everyone who knows guns, it's just sometimes someone will walk up who's not familiar and they'll get excited and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's why the RSOs are there to be like, okay, all right. Yeah, like the gentle pushes back towards the range.
Make sure everything stays on the berm somewhere.
Yeah.
It's usually after they dump a mag. That's when they're like, it's that excited turn towards your friends for a photo. And you're like,
I remember being a kid with my grandfather. I was like 5 and he like gave me a pellet gun and I was too weak to like cock it. So I would hand it back to him. He'd break it over his knee, put the pellet in it, hand it back to me, and I'd shoot. And every time that I flagged him, so I was like 5, he'd be like, "We have to wait now. You did it." And he was like, "You don't get it." And I remember like crying one time. I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." Not everyone had that experience. So there's instead of a pellet gun,
Straight at the dog.
it's
Well, Hunter, you flagged me again.
yeah.
You need to see how he reenacts
Maybe
that.
his grandfather was all right. He was just teaching him a lesson.
He never forgot the lesson.
He never forgot. Well, apparently he didn't get it. I think his grandfather tried to kill him when he was a child.
John, I'm sorry about Doug.
I have seen so many jokes about the ATF director thing, just holding Doug. They're like, no.
You can't have him. Oh yeah, what's this about you being ATF director?
By the time this comes out, this should probably be fine. But it's like, I that was not a thing I started. It wasn't a thing I even knew about. And I woke up one morning and I found out. So RFK Jr. had a website where he basically, it was, a for the people nominees kind of thing, where it's like, who would you like to see in which positions of government in the cabinet? Because there's a lot of positions that have to be filled. And so he's kind of open sourcing it and seeing what the people think, which I think is a great idea. But of course, my community immediately jumps on board and they make me the most voted for person on the entire website as director of the ATF. And it would have stopped there. It starts gaining a lot of traction. I make a joking video kind of referencing it. And we use it as an opportunity to raise money for no-kill dog shelters, which I think is very funny. All the merch and everything, it's like we're using that to raise money for the dog shelters, just as kind of like an extra, like, fuck the ATF. I can't really talk about a lot of the things that went into it, but there started to be a lot of calls from like Mar-a-Lago adjacent people about like, it's straight up like it got memed into existence, and it was... I'll say now, like, I doubt it's... I've seen the memes where it's like...
This is what you get.
The ATF is gay. Brandon Herrera's in the ATF. Like, aw.
If A equals B, then B equals C.
Yeah. But it was an honor to be... I don't think it's going to happen, at least in that capacity. Like, the Senate confirmation hearings would be a nightmare.
Oh, that'll be so funny. Oh my gosh.
It was an honor to be considered as long as it was, and I would love to have some sort of role, because I really do have, like, I had when it got pretty serious for a minute, I had a straight up 100-day plan. I'm like, these are the 99 theses of everything the ATF has fucked up and what I want to change. And to have any sort of advisor role and being able to say, like, hey, as an industry professional, these are the things that need to change.
Do you think... I don't mean this to like put a bump in the wheel or anything. Do you think that something like that would work? Or do you think you just get held up in like bureaucratic channels or assassinated or something?
I think it only works when everybody's on the same page. I have been watching Who Touches My Drinks lately.
Yeah.
But if you're working with a very friendly, like-minded, let's say, director of the FBI, like Kash Patel, and the Department of Treasury, you got a bunch of like people, because those are the people you got to really work with on a situation like that. When those people are like-minded, and you have a Republican-controlled Congress that would be a lot more gun-friendly, you have a gun-friendly president, like those are the situations where you can actually make some stuff happen. And for an opportunity like that, it's too important to say no in any capacity. But even just a role where I can call the ATF director, and say like, hey,
just to have that connection,
these are the things that. So because a lot of it is very obscure, like a lot of it's import-export law and things like that really just fuck over the gun industry.
Does that magazine have an American-made base plate? If not, oh, look at that, it's not
922R.
Yep.
I mean, they just fucked over the Berettas like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember, was it the AA-12? That there was like semi-auto ones that they were like, it actually could be full auto.
You can convert them too easily, and they collected all of the AA-12s in the country for being machine guns.
Yeah,
even the legally registered machine guns.
Did not know about that.
Oh, the ATF. Like, if you think you hate the ATF, you don't enough. There's a lot of cool guys that do like some cool task force stuff and whatnot, but like the organization in the bureaucratic side is the devil.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin's talked about that.
I remember,
blown away.
I remember when I worked at a gun shop, there were 2 different ATF agents who showed up to do checks. One of them, she was really cool, and then the guy who showed up was like a nightmare. And I remember him pulling out a ruler, like on like a AR pistol. Just thinking to myself, like, this is absurd. Just like it's wild. But yeah, like I don't mean to dissuade you. If you were ever in a position where you can make things happen, that would be incredible. I am just so infinitely black-pilled. Yes, about like official routes and channels and stuff like that. But if you could do something, that would be very, very cool.
I think it's one of those things where it's easy to get black-pilled, and like the government's given us plenty of reasons to be so.
How far are we from Waco?
No shit, right?
Yeah.
Literally, it's a 2-hour drive down the road.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if like all the stars start aligning to be able to do some really great things, don't be the roadblock. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those like,
If the door's there, the door's there.
100%. Which is why it's like if there was any official capacity, I could be involved in the unfucking of that. Which I mean, ideally, it's like the dissolving of the organization is the end goal. But in any capacity, to be able to, you know, if nothing else, just cripple it. The way I described it to
Shaking himself. Yeah.
the way I described it to some very official people was, look, it takes a year to build a house. It takes about 10 minutes to burn it down.
I wonder why they didn't.
Weird. The people I was talking to were on board.
Oh, okay.
That was probably the most reassuring thing. Is all of the people that were adjacent to the transition team were very much like. The one person I basically told him, like, look, if you just want another figurehead that's going to go along, get along, and basically just be the spokesman for a bunch of dumb shit, I'm sorry, like, I got enough going on. Like, I'm not your guy. But if you want somebody that's going to tear shit down, I'm not down to tear shit down. They're like, look at the other people they're choosing. Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Kash Patel. Like, you're in some good company.
What, who was the guy who was supposed to be at, like, a couple years ago?
David Chipman.
David Chipman. Was he actually at Waco, or is that just like a online story that got passed around?
So there was the photo of him that was like supposedly with a hunting rifle, in the, like with the burned
Waco,
remains
yeah.
of Waco.
Yeah.
I want to say that was misinformation at one point, but it was still very funny to meme on because he was a piece of shit.
I was just gonna say it's insane that the proposed director has gone from that to you. And like, talk about a spectrum.
Well, currently we have Steven Dettelbach, who's not as bad. Like, Dettelbach's not as bad, but he's not great. He's not gun friendly by any means. And to have, like, somebody made a comparison that I really love. They're like, why would you have a director of the FAA who hates airplanes?
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Why would you choose somebody to regulate something that hates the thing they're regulating?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of fair, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Also, just, fuck David Chipman. He looks like a lesbian gym coach.
Audience loved it during the live shows. That was literally.
I'm sure they did. I can only imagine what the energy was at those places.
The only time you'll ever hear our crowd chant ATF.
You should have.
Like, this is
It
weird.
was chanting. It was booming too.
Also, USA.
Every time.
Every 5 minutes was USA. It was awesome.
I'm a big fan of Connor's bit for that.
Lighting up a cigarette on stage.
They get super upset.
Then you love that. Yeah.
They were super big fans, but Connor gets declared the official advisor for tobacco, and then opens up with who wants to bring back
smoking on airplanes?
And it's like a thunderous
thousands of
applause.
people cheering for smoking on airplanes.
Let's go.
Low second hands. Make babies cough again.
Oh, God.
Buffalo, who's like racism. They're like, ah! It's like, Brandon, we need to leave.
The 2 brown guys on stage are like,
I made it a joke to get people to chant the most offensive thing I could think of. So in Boston, I got people to chant, which you can't say on YouTube. And then in Buffalo, I got them to chant racism.
So yeah, you missed out on the show.
word racism or chants that were.
No.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, on the bars
yeah.
of cancellation, I'm just to the right of Cody.
You're leaning over. You're looking at the pool. You're not in yet.
He's your third devil. Right?
I'm
That
getting a text from you. It's like, I can't make it next
It's
year.
like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I broke my leg next year. I apologize.
The unholy spirit.
The last
It'll be
pod-
like how guys got out of the draft, like shattering their legs in car doors. Yeah.
and Brandon got chokeslammed through a table at Buffalo.
That did happen. Yeah.
By who?
Angry
Angry
cops.
cops.
Oh, I thought you meant just a rando.
No. It wasn't just like somebody who's like, I hate your YouTube.
Crowd goes wild. Is it?
Oh, that's me chokeslamming
Man,
angry
they are
cops.
screaming.
Dude, that is the entire
That's
fucking.
the
That
entire
is
show.
an hour and a half.
It's
You need to come
crazy.
on one of our shows next time around.
I'd be down for it. I'd just be up there looking scared, I think, the whole time, but that'd be a good vibe.
that'd be
I think.
good. Once you
Everyone
get
puts their
We can
phones
sit
away.
next to each other and do that together.
the bigger venues, honestly, it's weird because like I feel less nerves in the bigger venues.
Can't see that many people.
Because like in the
face,
intimate
yeah.
ones, like the first one we ever did here in San Antonio, it's like intimate, where it's like there's still like subtle lighting everywhere. It's like 300 people, but I could like spit on the first person very easily. Like it's just that no separation.
Didn't help. That was our only venue where we had to walk through the crowd to get to the stage.
Very
Yeah.
true. And then you have Boston, where it's like, Cody, look, there's an entire new row of people up there. And Cody's
third
like,
row.
Fuck.
Yeah, there was like a third mezzanine. It was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, the second one didn't bother me, but as soon as the lights came on, I saw the third mezzanine and was like, oh, there are so many more people here. I'm going to fucking myself.
How big were those rooms?
1,100 seats sold out. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's insane.
It was the
It
same
is.
place that Joe Rogan filmed his like I think Strange Times special for Netflix.
Wow.
It was a big venue and it was it was a lot of fun.
They call it the wall of laughter because like it's
It looks like the whole wall. Yeah.
Three rows
When
of
you
people.
zoom in is like,
You're completely zoomed in right now.
yeah.
What the
and then
heck?
you zoom out. It's just.
What the heck? That is wild.
Yeah.
Cody, I'm so proud of you. You didn't throw up or anything.
Thanks, man. Almost.
By the power of
I just shit
alcohol.
myself.
That'd be really wild if you actually did on stage.
Just shit yourself on
Just
stage.
shit myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell anyone.
Nope. You
Just
can't.
stare into the third
I'm
mezzanine.
still most proud on the very last Buffalo ever. You killed it every time, and then it was like, Cody, close us out on the last show, and you're like, hi, everyone. You're like, fuck! You're so proud of yourself. You nailed it every time until that last.
It's very Cody response, I think.
The only one.
I'm glad you all had a good time. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a blast.
Do you think you're going to keep doing CreepCast live tours?
I'm
Or-
certainly down for it. I enjoy it. Hunter has this awful, and I'll talk about him because he's not here.
Do it.
Jesus.
Hunter is like one of the funniest people I know, if
Yeah.
not the funniest. And he does not believe that. He's so like self-conscious about it all the time. After the tour, he's like, "Oh no, I don't know if they liked it. I don't know if they liked it." I'm like, "Bro, they loved it. Everyone loved it. It was a great time and stuff." So
We say it all
assume-
the time here. Like he's one of the most naturally funny people I know.
It makes me so mad how funny he is all the time. Like the dude's hilarious. It pisses me off. But not. I would love to do one as soon as I can bully him into it. I'm definitely down to do it because I had a ton of fun. I enjoyed it being on the road and seeing everyone at shows and stuff like that. I think it went well. So yeah, it was a good time.
I want to see you guys on a big venue, or just on a big venue, because it's terrifying at first. Then you get used to it. Then after a while, it just becomes that routine. You build it. By the big shows, we fucking had it. Everyone had it locked in what we needed to do. And even with Buffalo, where we changed everything. That show just like moved to completely new pieces of comedy. We're like, well, it's happening right now. I guess.
Why is Rich bringing out folding tables?
It was fun seeing Angry Cops in his element. Like he had the Bills Mafia there, and he brought out folding tables and just crashing people through them. It was so fun.
We rolled up in a decommissioned fire truck that was full of alcohol.
I sent that photo to you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, also, side note, that fucking photo where your reply was like, I want to leave now. We won't say that. Hunter, like, I got that in our little group chat, and I
yeah.
started dying.
He does that all the time. I'll just be talking about something and randomly be like, "Man, I've got the cyst on my leg," and I'm like, "Really, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah," and it'll be a picture from like,
Just full cheeks.
and then I won't answer for a minute. He'll be like, "Are you there? Are you okay? Hey."
God bless her, boy. On that note, Cody, you want to close us out, you beautiful son of a bitch.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining the Unsubscribed podcast. I was joined today by Eli Doubletap, Fat Electrician, our baby boy Wendigoon, Brandon Herrera, myself, Donald Operator. Thank you so much for watching our stuff. We love you.
Wendigoon, where do we find you?
You find me at Wendigoon here on YouTube and also CreepCast. And if you can spare a moment, check out the Appalachian Rebuild Project. Very proud of what we're doing over there. Very happy to have a lot of good people on the ground who make good things happen. So check that out if you have the time.
And
Really
people can
appreciate it.
donate directly there.
They can donate directly. Right, depending on when this goes up till January 2nd, I have a merch drop. All proceeds from that also go to it. Or you can donate directly to the APR. Or there's also like merch, like, made to ship stuff on the APR website. Profits also go there. There's a bunch of ways if you want to, but just sharing, checking out anything means the world. So,
Fuck yeah. Appreciate you, brother.
absolutely appreciate
Always
you,
a pleasure
boys.
to have you. Love you.
Hold on. Round of applause for him.
Okay, bye.
Let's do it.
Thank you for your service.
B tier my ass.
Like everyone did. But